We've gone live. So yeah, we've gone live and we've gone back again.
Yeah, I just got a notification.
Yeah, we're going back again live tonight because we felt like the conversation hadn't fully completed itself by the time we came offline. And I think you two and I thought, you know what? Let's just go back on to part 2. So here we are for part 2, and we're joined by the fantastic Ruben, who I had the pleasure of meeting in London last time I did some activism with John Smith Global. And I have to say, Ruben, it's really lovely to have you here. But man, it was so awesome to meet you that day. It was pretty much surreal, to be honest with you. It was a bit of a whirlwind of an experience. But by the time we'd finished at Parliament and we were sitting on that green, it felt like a wave of euphoria that I was on. And it was a really special day.
Thank you. Yeah, the feeling's mutual. It was awesome experience. And I said to Harry, and you can see in the video, that we need to pull our finger out. And I don't remember me being that confident, but seeing you, it was like you were in your element. It looked like you'd done it a million times. So great to have you with us. And now Vic and Tom. And on Sunday, it's going to be incredible.
Yeah,
it's going to be epic.
Yeah, it's pretty much has kind of snowballed, hasn't it? It's just kind of grown and grown and grown, and I feel like it's now just grown. You know, it's got its own legs, and it's now become what it is for everybody. And that's really, truthfully, what I wanted in the beginning. I didn't want it to be my thing. I wanted it to be everyone's thing. And knowing, like yourself, Ruben, you live in London yourself. It's so big. It's so big that I feel that things like this are needed on a regular basis. I feel like a few of us need to hold it down. And if we're ready to stand up and go to that next level and say, look, we're here, we're ready to put ourselves selflessly out here like this. And you know what, whatever's needed, no matter what level of stuff's needed, we're going to get it done. Why? To tell the masses, to tell more masses, to tell more people. Because I'll be honest, and I hope you can vouch for me when I say this, Ruben, I was utterly shocked at how little confrontation we faced in.
Little resistance.
Do you remember the cabman? Do you remember the cabman? Walk with me, Harry. Walk
yeah,
with me.
He was actually showing us pictures of, images, and saying that this is fake and none of these pictures are real, and he was backing us. At first, I thought he was like,
me too,
saying these are real images, but he wasn't. He was backing us, and it was like, well, that's a relief. Yes.
The passengers were all smiling at us and all thumbs up and whatnot. It was like a unanimous. Even at the pub, there were so many places where, you know, I feel that more people stopped and talked than walked past and ridiculed us. I remember a time a year or so ago when I was out there having conversations with people, and maybe 1 or 2 out of 100 would be open to it, you know. And those were the days when I was just out there with my hand. Forget having a banner, forget having clerical stuff to give out, you know. And I think it was really nice to convey that on camera, because I know that John Smith Global had only been down in April, and I know he's been down quite a few times. And I think for progression, to see how each piece of content, how the people have reciprocated to it more and more so and more so, I think we've all got evidential proof that it is getting somewhere, even if we assume only the smallest rate of progression at all. It's getting somewhere.
Definitely. I think everyone's heard of the term flat earth now. There's not a single person that hasn't heard it. You know, even if it's in a satirical way, they have heard the term flat earth. And I've heard it on TV, for example, like Philip and Holly were talking about it. Do you know what I mean? In any angle, you're going to hear it on the radio, in songs, whatever. So I think it's more acceptable now. And yeah, hitting hard with the activism is great, because it shows that we're out there in the real world.
Yeah, it's not just on Facebook. It's not just something you see online or on TV. It's in your face. It's real. But the people are taking it to the streets now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the massive difference is when you think 3 years ago, just 3 years ago, where a lot of us, I don't know when you was, Ruben, I think it was similar, and Rox, I think we was all similar, I think all
2015.
Yeah, 2015. Yeah. You could say flat earther to a very few people, and they might know, but everybody else, nobody else knew what a flat earth was. They'd never come across it. God's sake, we don't just come across it. So we're searching for shit. So, you know, it was quite unknown.
Yeah. Now it's acceptable to talk about it, at least. Like, it's so out there that it's a subject that can be spoken about. So it's brilliant. We weren't here 2-3 years ago. We have made movements, I think.
Definitely, yeah. If you'd have spoke about it on the streets like a few years ago, you'd probably been beaten up or something.
Maybe
like,
no,
because like people get triggered. Do you know what I mean? And especially like if it's a very unheard thing. Like some people, like honestly, you can't take away anything from them. You mentioned that vaccines have got toxins in. They're like, oh, no, they haven't. And then it's like people lose the shit over things because you're destroying the little bubble. But like the more it's becoming like a normal thing to see online. That like everyone's on it. Like even like people that watch like Love Island and things like that would have heard about flat Earth and vaccines by now. Do you know what I mean? It's becoming that more of a popular thing.
It's been on Big Brother. There was a flat earther on there, weren't there? I don't think he did much for the cause, but or it was a plant. I don't know, but there was a flat earth. So even if it's in a negative connotation, which usually is when it's mainstream media anyway. It's still getting the terminology out there. It's still a little bit of deprogramming, because even though the majority will do the knee-jerk reaction, flat earth, what lunacy, it's still planting it out there. There's actually people that think the earth is flat. So, and then because we're doing sciencey things, I'm hoping the more that the mainstream start pushing that type of side, even if they still think we're nonsense, they might start thinking, well, actually, they might be nonsense, but they know the stuff in what they're saying in their field. It's just not what we're thinking. We know it's this. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like little tiny little chips away at the bloody mountain of this thing what we have to pick at to get to the top or whatever, or get the thing underneath. I don't know. I've just had a little drink. Waffling.
You know what? It's organic what you're saying, Victoria, and that's the nice thing about this kind of conversation, is that we go off on organic tangents, and that's where your thoughts are naturally going. And I think we should maybe stop apologizing for ourselves when we do that, because everyone has to remember we're not online here with any script, and I don't pertain anyone else to be on a script. I'm just clarifying. None of us have a script. This conversation without an audience. I think it would have just been a shame for a conversation like this and others like this to happen without an audience, or without the ability to play it back, like you were saying, Victoria, about, you know, Carl Ruben, can you imagine if we'd have recorded that conversation we had on Parliament Green? Wasn't that it was, for me,
everyone's like button bashing out there, typing away, and it's not getting us anywhere. We need to start speaking like this. It's real, it's authentic, it's in real time. Do you know what I mean? You can see, you can lie, you can go Google things. Like you haven't got a chance to do that in this type of conversation, so it's more authentic.
Real, yeah. Well, the thing is, Tom, when you said about everyone's typing away and that, well, the thing is that was stage 1, weren't it? Really. Now we're at least stage 2, maybe 3. So we need to step it up a different level now. So maybe it is, I'm thinking, instead of, we still do the stuff what we do on Facebook and whatever other platforms people use. But no, let me just finish.
Challenge people, the trolls in your thingy. Start inviting them to a debate instead. Because it's a waste of energy doing it, typing away, when you could just be talking. It's so much easier to just...
Exactly. Basically, we bring it into, well, there's 3 stages in this activism. So one stage is doing it on your Facebook. One stage doing it on your Facebook, where you're just making memes, making videos, writing content. So it's almost like publishing something. Then the other stage is obviously this, what we're doing, which we've missed out really in some ways. Some people have been doing it, don't get me wrong, but not many. And the other stage is obviously then taking it to the streets and doing the activism. Well, we've done it a mixed way around, and we're going back to this one. But this one is almost like, it's almost the second best thing, isn't it? We're still doing the one-to-one, because like what Tom said, especially with these live debate things, I think not only will they be really, really good for people to see, they'll be very interesting to watch, whereas people will want to tune in to see, because everyone
you'll get people from both sides, and you'll get the globe believers coming in to laugh at flat earthers, and then you'll get the flat earthers to come in to laugh at the globers. So you know what I mean? Like you'll get like so much more views, and it's giving them, it's separating the real from the fake as well. Like I challenged a YouTuber called Simon Dan, and he's like, no, I wouldn't do it. And then I went onto his Facebook as well, like called him out, and I made sure I did it publicly. So he lost a bit of respect there. Do you know what I mean? Because he's in an echo chamber. He won't let nobody debate him. He's there like calling out flat earthers, and then when one rises to him, he ain't got the balls to do it.
But in general as well, when you said about the echo chamber, as much as it's amazing to have all our flat earth stuff friends on Facebook, I won't knock them. We need to have other people who are not flat earth on there.
Yeah, definitely.
So that we don't want echo chambers either. Otherwise, as much as we want to interact and speak to people, if you've got no one who's doing healthy debate on there, then you're not waking no one up. You're just talking to each other, like preaching to the choir.
And that's why it's going to be absolutely amazing at Speaker's Corner, yeah, because there's going to be so many people there.
You've just
so many interesting.
I know I've got something to say first before we go on to Speaker's Corner, because that's going to be like a massive subject. Just want to finish this on about the live debates and the going online. Basically, we need to do this, because if you think about it, when you're on Facebook, for instance, and you're on a post and you've got a really good debate going on, you do them popcorn apps, or I'm watching, or you do the memes, don't you, where you're watching because you get excited. That's just watching people type. Oh, this gonna be? It's like going to be like flat earth, globe earth boxing match without it being, we could even have referees and shit and just, well, they're the mods, aren't they? Hey, you calm down, blah, blah, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Or we could have we could literally have, like, say it's going to be one-on-one, and then we could have a literal referee or someone else online as a referee say, no, actually, bring it down a bit, calm down, because things get heated. So this could be absolutely, because not only...
Like a mediator for it.
Yes. A referee, basically, as such, because not only are we debating the truth and sharing what we know, but we're doing something what people want to see, because I want to see the shit that's being typed, because I get involved or whatever, and people could maybe get involved as well.
Check comments.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Gary John, the organizer of the Flat Earth Convention in the UK, had a good point. He said he thinks it's an amalgamation of everything. It's the online, it's the memes, it's the activism, it's the conventions, it's the hangouts, it's everything in one. That's the
music.
Activism seems to be very popular. A lot of people are saying the same thing. Allegedly Dave and his Red Flag Media have been saying it for a while. It's all about the activism. It's all about the activism, and it's true. You can see the effect that it has on people. Authentic Content is doing great work as well.
Massively great work. Awesomely great work, man. He's doing bits, man. He's like, I saw the bits and pieces he was doing with his banner. He's used the elasticated rope and wrapped it around trees and pulled it taut and got it down so the wind. Like, it's all about trying to find little bits and pieces, sharing that information. We can all learn from each other. It doesn't make us a weak individual because we're taking note from each other. And I don't think it by any means, just for everyone that's watching on playback, this is not by any means a cultish behavior or hidden agendaed mentality behavior. This is all done in the open public. You can clearly see what brilliant people like Authentic are doing, where they're just, I like the ethos with his table and his chair and sitting there and just having a healthy conversation with people.
Yeah.
Awesome.
When you said about it's all Ruben and you, Roxanne, when you said it's about the whole lot, it is. And I think added to that is also the social side as well. Because I think we need that, because we do all live in society, in this society, what we all are not happy with. Well, less than not happy with it. We absolutely detest, loathe, and we all want to get away from it. So we do need a bit of respite, and that's what the getting together bit is as well. So obviously these online things are the next best thing to getting together, because we can't always physically get together. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point as well. And I think socially, as long as we've got people that are connecting in real life as human beings like we are now, then eventually become socially accepted to do these things without being ridiculed on the road.
Yeah.
I think people are isolated as well. So, like, even though I feel like I've been really lucky because I found flat earth and then made friends straight away, and then threw myself into the getting together things straight away. So I've been really lucky. But most people have been in as long and even longer than myself, and they've never met, or they've not met many, if they haven't met any flat earthers. So they feel like we met the guy, John Rasta John, at Sheffield, and he was like, oh, I thought I was the only one, and he was like, his family was calling him crazy, and he said he was just absolutely at his wit's end, waiting to. He said, I can't believe you're here, and he said, oh, you're awesome. It was so lovely, and he actually, how I met him was a guy, a scientist, was in my face having a go at me. And he just jumped in and like basically stuck up for me and said, if he because this guy squared up to him, he said, hey, I'll sort you out, mate. You know what I mean? Don't be squaring up to me. And I didn't even know this guy, and I just pulled him aside, gave him a hug, and said, wow. So where did you come from, like? And I said, and he's like, no, man, you're saying all the truth, and these sheeple, they're not, they just don't know. You're trying to help them, you're trying to save them. We need people like you. And he was fucking awesome. So give him my number, give him the Facebook, went, come and meet my best mates, and then brought him over to Tom, and he just hugged him straight away. This guy and he was like, and I said, we do camps, like, oh, I'm on it, I'm there, please don't forget me, do you know what I mean?
I met another guy called Owen as well. He was looking at the board, and I thought, he looks all right, I was going to talk to him, so I went to pass him a leaflet, and I swear down, we just had like a proper amazing conversation for about an hour. Like, he was there for a good half an hour anyway. Ooh. And there was like these two students who were just like captivated by every word. Do you know what I mean? Was having a proper good chat, and he was like dead spiritual, all about love and peace, and like telling us how to diet and fast and things like that. And it was just amazing, like just authentic conversation. And like he said, it like there's no coincidence. It, like he was meant to be there and things like that. And it was just amazing, honestly.
Yeah, he said he never comes into Sheffield Town Centre. And he said he shouldn't have been there and everything, but he just went for some reason, some random reason what he would not normally have made the effort for. And then he came over to us and spent a good few hour or so with us. About an hour, yeah. And I said it's synchronicity, and he said it is. He totally got it. Same with John Rasta John, and there was another guy as well who I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry if he's watching. But yeah, there's another guy. I was like, synchronicity. Oh, that was it. Was it Chris? Was it Chris F.A.? God, I can't remember his name. I'm shit with names. Not Chris UK. The other Chris.
He's a YouTuber, isn't he?
I'm sure it was Chris F.A. But if I've got it wrong, I'm really sorry. And he just said, because I'd seen him anyway. I think it was
Adam. Is it Adam?
No.
He's a YouTuber. He normally sets up meets in Sheffield, and he just literally ran straight into us as we were setting up the banners. He come over to us, and we thought he was coming for the activism. Was like, no, then shook his hand, and he's like, no, I'm just passing by, mate.
He was just walking past. Anyway, he just walked. We'd literally just got there. We'd literally just put the thing down, stopped for a split second. Anyway, Victoria, and walked straight over to me. And I gave him a hug. I was like, oh, yeah. I said, oh, yeah, we're going to be here for a bit. So anyway, oh, no, I'm not here with you. Because I just thought he must have come because he heard that we were doing that. And it wasn't. He was just walking past. How mad is that?
Pat Mustard said, please say something that we haven't heard already. Come on.
Okay.
What, you haven't heard that, Pat? I never said that before. I've not told you.
Let's say something that Pat's never heard already. Okay, so next Sunday, we're going to be amongst other factions that have a lot of stuff that are going to be in conjunction with what we're there talking about. We have talked earlier on about the British Space Agency and them getting £1.16 million a day. I don't pertain that to be anything new to Pat at the moment. But one thing I do want to talk about are some of the other factions that are going to be there about freedom of speech, Article 13. There will be people at Speaker's Corner next week talking about these things. We will have an opportunity to share borderline the same platform as them. And we have a lot of the same gripes as these other people. We have the same gripe as the people, in a sense, that are complaining about government spending. And, you know, with the anniversary of Grenfell Tower, the government's not spent right on them. You know, I can concur and I can consent. I don't consent to the way the government has treated those people. I don't consent to the way the government has spent money on the British Space Agency without displaying to us where that money's going. You know, we ask the MPs to disclose where they spend their money, but the British Space Agency is really not under the same scrutiny, are they?
Yeah. Well, it's like what
was it? How much is the space agency, UK space agency, getting out of our money a day?
Just over 1.16 million pounds a day.
That's fucking ruthless.
A day, not even a year. So, like, you wouldn't think that, because I've never even went. What the fuck have we done in the UK in the space thing? What's the actual?
Is that going straight to NASA then?
An interesting comment from Tommy Rogers. Everything in history. Sorry, everything is a lie. History is missing over 1,000 years. This realm is run by evil parasitic beings. How's that?
Parasitic.
That's a lovely. I think Tommy Rogers is trying to say something Pat's never heard before. So, you know, good on you, Tommy. So, yeah, what's you guys' take on that about history? About who's written history?
All history. I don't know. I think it's you, Roxanne, who said it, or someone said it to me anyway.
Written by the winners, isn't it? By the victors.
That it was you, yeah. The victors, yeah. The victors write the history.
How much of it is his story? To Ruben, to Tom, to Victoria. Maybe I'll start with you, Ruben. How much of you can maybe go back in and look at and say, right, okay, I pertain that to be true and not? How far do you think you could go back before you kind of go, right, it's more of a belief now? Don't really have any tangible proof of it.
I wouldn't even know.
Not with your family. I mean, just in life, just in what you know. I mean, how far back would you go before you can say, can't really vouch for that anymore?
Even with just like, I don't know, for example, when I looked into the Titanic, I heard that was not real. It was like not real. It did sink and whatever, but it was like an insurance scam and stuff. Like, there's just a lot that I learned before I learned about flat Earth, and now that I think about it, I'm like, actually, I'm not sure if that's real now. I might have to look back into it and stuff. So there's a lot to look into. Bermuda Triangle as well. I remember that got brought up not that long ago with I can't remember who it was, someone from my normal life, and I was like, well, I think it's this, but we'd have to look back into it. But there's a lot of history that I think is just made up, and World War II. And
what about you?
Bless you.
Thank you.
Oh, bless you, my darling. What about you, Tom?
Thank you.
What's that? I missed it. I was eating a pear and it was really nice.
Yeah, but that weren't the pear. That was you online.
No, I was checking the comment. What are you saying? Stop jumping in.
How far back in your your life's knowledge? How far back in history, from your perspective, do you think you can go? Not in your family, just in knowledge in itself, or you have to start vouching for something you can't?
Not even 100 years. Like I can't honestly say like I believe in any of the history. Like people go on like they know Henry VIII, like they've had a pint with him. Do you know what I mean? I don't even believe he even existed. Do you know what I mean? All of it's a fabrication. We don't know. It's just fairy tales in a book. Oh, fancy stories like Peter Pan. That's all it is to me. Oh, it's just fabrication.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. Totally agree, Tom. I also think that realistically we can literally go back 200 years max-ish, give or take. Because if you imagine, right, I'll tell you how. So if you imagine you've got someone who's in the 100 years old now, they had a parent or a family member or a friend who'd lived to 100 years old and they remember their stories. So they've been told by someone firsthand, and then
so it's still Chinese whispers. Then.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is
it's not actual proof. It's Chinese whispers.
You
just hear me say. Do you know what I mean?
So basically, that's the furthest we can actually go back, and that is still trusting one person's version of events because they're still telling but they're saying someone who they knew, literally knew in physical reality. That's what I'm on about. So beyond that, we can't go back, and even like I said, that is still trusting someone's version of events.
I think the oldest gravestones as well are like 1700s as well, so you can't even go past that, to be fair.
Although you have got the structures, building structures that have got like 1400s and odd and 13. We've got one in Liverpool. I think it's the oldest building in the UK. I have not right by. It's right by here. I'll go and take you tomorrow. I could do like a little live feed. We did find an interesting structure in Liverpool. We went to the Calderstones Park, which was an ancient Druids area, and all the streets around there are called Druids' names. And I've been to Calderstones Park loads of times over the 18 years I've lived here, and never come across this tree, which was they call it in Teen Wolf the Nemeton, and in other words, which is a Druid's tree. But it's called known as a hanging tree, and it's classed as either 1,000 or 2,000 years old, and it's where they used to do human sacrifices, the elite, it's like the Druids and that side, and also the was like a courthouse tree, so they'd hang people on it as well. So it's and that's basically, it's your blood sacrifice, and we've all looked into the Masonic elite with the blood sacrifice.
Crikey. And that's what I mean. I find that question so interesting to ask, because you see how diverse everyone's answers are. Like, everyone kind of goes on a different tangent with it, but there seems to be no direct narrative anyone have got with. So now I want to ask everyone else another direct question, and everyone in the chat room can join in. And what it is, I've just got these questions popping into my head like text messages, and I'm like, oh yeah, great opportunity. I just want to ask that question. And this isn't anything anti-religious or anything, because I'm not an anti-religious person. So this question's bugged me out since I was a child. Before anything was shown to me, I've always bugged out. My parents can vouch for that. My family can vouch for that. As a kid, I've always bugged out about the years that we live in. So when I was a little kid, I was running around in 1986. Yeah, when it was Transformers and Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles and Superman, and life was lit. Life was a little movie as a kid. Every game I played with started with, let's pretend I'm such, you're such and such, and we're going to go and do such and such. Whether it was Thundercats, whether it was whatever you watched, you were going to go and be that person and go and do that, yeah? So my life was, in a bubble like most kids. But the only thing that really used to bug me out was at school, like my daughter has now, we had this conflict of interest. We had on one hand the religious aspect of my schooling, and on the other hand the scientific aspect of my indoctrination of the education system. And we were told every day to write the date on a page. Yeah, today is Monday, the 7th of January, 1986. And we used to put CW for classwork and HW for homework. Yeah, every page was uniform, the same shit, same different day, same shit, different day. And I remember joking about with my friends and saying, "Oh, imagine how mad that must have looked in like the year 2, writing such and such year 2." And I used to think, scratching my head, going, but in year 2, they must have known what year it was before year 0, innit? They must have had that like normal knowledge, and they must have known why they went to 0, and that must have just been all normal, right? Because that's all normal. That's really normal. Once upon a time, it was the year 3916, and then they went, right, now we're 0. Bang. So my gran was born my gran was born in the year 3962, and I'm born in the year 3. Makes sense, doesn't it? No. So we call it BC. So that year I'm asking about is, what was the number of the year 1 BC?
Fuck knows. That's a head scrambler, that, isn't it?
Really, I think
Just a simple answer. If you can just give me just off the top of your head, what your senses telling you right now when I'm asking that question?
I don't think there was
it's
one.
backwards, isn't it? It don't work.
I don't think there was. I think there was a massive disaster, and that people weren't able to even compute what was going on. So they might have stopped all schooling, all knowledge, all anything at the time, so they couldn't think it, and then get time over with. And then some people came in and said, right, well, let's start from scratch, and we started from zero. I don't know, and they'd gone through some disaster, some traumatic events first.
To just start from zero?
It's a good question. It's a good question. Obviously, the religious people will say before Christ and all that, yeah. But like, come on, man, like that's before religion, before all that. Do you know what I mean? It's like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Why the calendar was reset and like
So
I don't know. That's a good question.
Never have a simple answer for since mankind started. What we're just not allowed to be in the real year of that. Then whatever that year is.
You know what?
Allowed to do that, are we? We're just not allowed. Yeah. We're just not allowed to have that simple information, are we? We just got to live this fucking universal.
Well, maybe we do
that. Going to say something then.
Yeah.
Go on, Ruben, mate.
Sorry, darling.
I never got it either. Yeah, but looking into, I know people say like you shouldn't subscribe to any model and whatever, but I'm just speaking for me. I think it is a circular model, and I think Martin Kenny is the closest, has it like the closest. Like some of the stuff that he's put together answers a lot, and it's not so much the model. He's got this clock. I don't know if you guys know the clock. That is just absolutely mind blowing. And when he explained it to me over the phone, but it just didn't click. But when he gave us like a little presentation in his house, it was mind blowing because everything made sense in the cycles and that, and it's a Fibonacci sequence, and it just lines up perfectly. So this would explain why some people are in a different year, like 3,000 years ahead or 3,000 years behind, and it's just really interesting. I think a lot of people need to or should entertain the idea enough to just look at his model. And I know a lot of people aren't happy with like a lot of Christians at the convention, for example, called him the Antichrist because his model went against the Bible. But the funny thing is, Darren Nesbitt's one is like goes to the Bible, but none of the Christians were supporting that one. So it's like, you know what I mean? So,
actually, Ruben, the Christians that are saying it doesn't go with the Bible are actually they're looking at the Bible in the literal sense. But when you read it from the literary sense, even though I know there's still some literal stories in there, I'm not denying that. Basically, a lot of ancient cosmology is said in the Bible. It's just they're not reading it right. So their variation is not the right way to think. I think that's the trouble with buying into religion as such. I know this is quite a heated topic for people. But I'm a spiritual person. This is my belief. I hope I don't offend you because my intention is not to offend. But I don't buy into religion because religion has been manipulated. I do believe we've got a creator. I don't know what that is or who that is. So I'd say what Tom said, which is the creator of my soul. And we all know that the Bible tells us, like, and all the holy books, our morals, who we are, where we're from, why we're here, and what we should be doing and what's happening. And it also tells us the story of the cosmos, which is what is happening now. And they also have the figures in them, which is like for the Bible, you've got Jesus, which is representing the sun, and in all the other, like the 12, the disciples and everything, they're all represented in the cosmology and things like that. And they're also represented in alchemy and in every other holy book as well. So there's too many repetitions. For my liking, what I feel is that the creator knew that he created such a diverse amount of people that he needed to give such a diverse amount of people the book. So he knew that every type of person needed a book. And I reckon that they're all saying the similar thing from the stuff what I've read and the religions and the cosmologies I've read. To me, they've all got the same theme going through them. They've all got all the things what I said prior. And it's just they've been manipulated by the people in charge of that particular book. So they've been able to use that book to control and basically control, manipulate the people. So I think I don't know, I've waffled there a bit, but yeah, did that make sense?
Yeah, it did. It did.
I definitely shouldn't.
I don't want to talk over anyone else. Tom, Ruben, do you want to say something now?
What topic we on? Are we going off topic on a different topic? Or
we can stay on that. We can move on. We can come back to that. Whatever you want to say, darling.
Right. Basically, I want to talk about the video that I put up on my YouTube channel yesterday, and it's basically completely debunking NASA. Absolutely, it's not my own video. I've just cropped it off YouTube, like. But honestly, like, you need to check it out. It's called The Final Nail in NASA's Coffin, and I swear down, like, I recommend it to any glober. Like, they cannot deny it. It's literally like full-on proof. Like, you can't watch that unless you get triggered and turn it off. You can't watch it and still think the same way. You just can't.
I do think though that some people, even though they try to, they think they're open-minded or whatever, that these people that actually do watch this, like, absolute in-your-face proof evidence, and then still deny. Like, I don't know if you've seen Westworld or anything, but they're like the AI, whatever they are, the robot people, and they've been programmed not to see that door. That there's actually a door there, and they're programmed not to see it. So they're just that program that they can't see it. And it's going to take a little bit more or something else to deprogram them. What
it is their ego. Instantly, the reason why they're getting angry is because they know it's true deep down. It's hurt them that much. They can't admit that they've got to change their life then, because the whole life is a lie. They know they've got to change, and they've got to see the life differently and start questioning things. And they don't want to do that. They don't want that responsibility. They don't want to be seen like that. They don't want to be alienated from their friends and family. So they just instantly reject it, and they attack you for it, because they're like, you're trying to steal my reality. Rah, rah, rah. And do you know what I mean? That's all it is. It's pure ego, and the ones that are triggered are the ones that know deep down, and they just can't admit it.
Because they're false. They're worshipping a false idol.
Because they're living a lie. They're living a lie. That's what it is. They don't want to admit they're living a lie.
You know what? I had a friend that said he didn't want to look into Earth because he'd have to unlearn and relearn everything he already knows, and he's really knee deep into it. Like, he's really invested in the stuff that he talks about. Like, so just
not it. I've had someone message me saying, "Oh, I really love what you're posting about flat Earth. I've had to make a new account so my family don't know," and things like that. Because, like, he didn't want to be alienated. Do you know what I mean? So he's made a new account so he could post about it, and that's just mad.
That is, isn't it? But the fact that, you know, once upon a time, it wasn't the longest period. But when I awoke to the truth about flat Earth, I went through a momentary period, you know, where I held the information to myself. But I couldn't hold it in too long, because if I held it in any longer, Ray would have thought I had issues, or I was doing bits with somebody else or something, because I was devoting so much of my time to it. Like, every piece of free, like even walking the dog, you know, I was on my phone 24/7. If I was away from paperwork, I couldn't. It was just walk the dog, look at the phone. Just before, you know, if I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth, I've stuck my phone to the thing and I'm watching it. I couldn't stop. Lunch break, everything. And it got to the point where I was overwhelmed with the information I had, so I had to share it with my partner. But even for me, I isolated myself for that time. And, you know, in that time when you're isolated, there's nobody to reach out to. There's no one, because you're so consumed with absorbing all of this new information that prior, it's like you were open to it. Things link up with other things that you've looked at. You've researched other things, so you start connecting the dots. But it's almost like a whirlwind, like a big blur of absorbing more information actually in that window. I did anyway. I absorbed more information in that window of awakening than I had have done really probably in my entire life up to that point. It was like an overload of information. So I had to come out pretty quickly to my partner and my family because it was taking over my life. I had my job, I had everything else, but I had no free time because that's what consumed it. You can see how people can get to that point where they've got to make another account to come in on something because they may still be in that limbo period where they've awoken to it, but they haven't got to the point where they've opened up to their family.
They're not ready to come out to the family about it. Like, they don't want to be alienated. They're scared of what they might think or things like that. Because like it is a complete reality change. Yeah, so you're not just changing your own reality. Even if they don't accept it around you, you're changing theirs because you've changed yours. Do you know what I mean? So you're still affecting theirs by changing your reality. So it's like, and it's like the elephant in the room kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, have you gone through that, Ruben?
Yeah, my experience was quite funny actually. Basically, the first flat earth video I saw was Dave Murphy's Biggest Lie of All, and by the time I got through both videos, I was just like, had a list of stuff to research and look at, and I heard about the moon landings and I didn't really see the importance of it, but once I looked into it, I was like, oh wow, yeah, this makes so much more sense. And basically, it was 2 weeks before we were meant to go to Spain. So I had 2 weeks of researching here in England, and then 2 weeks in Spain, and I hadn't spoken to anyone about it. And after that month was over, in Spain, because I was on the laptop literally from morning till evening, and just conducting my own experiments and observations. And I was online so much that my partner Cynthia asked if I was cheating on her. She thought I was like on a dating website or something. So it was kind of a relief, I think, to her. But it was a bit of a mad one. Like, no, babe, I'm not cheating, but I think the Earth is flat. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit left field. So I just explained it to her, and I think she got it faster than I did. She grasped it. Maybe it's women's intuition. I don't know. She grasped it way faster than I did, and yeah, she was the first person I told, and then the rest of the family thought I was nuts. And now it's got to the point where, because they're on my Facebook and I've hammered so much information out and tagged them in the past. Oliver Ibanez, he does stuff in Spanish as well, Iru Landucci. So I tagged them in this stuff, and now it's got to the point where her auntie, who is a psychiatrist and said that, I think he's into this new age stuff, he might kill himself or something. She's now ordered a 24-hour flat earth clock off me because she gets it, the earth is flat. So yeah, that's quite it.
That's it. That's self-evident, right?
Yeah, and that's just with my partner, but like other people, my mum gets it. She was like, yeah, it's in the Bible, you're right. My nan, she was like, yeah, duh, didn't you know it's flat? So I'm like, oh wow. Why didn't you say nothing? And she was like, because you'd think I'm nuts. You know, everywhere else you're taught that it's a ball, but it's there, and she's quite religious. But yeah, it's a relief when people around you click and you're that first person that made them realize. I mean, you're the first flat earther that they ever met and made them think about it. Before that, no one who'd really think about the shape of the earth until you come along and said it, just proved it.
I was like the first person in my town to start talking about it, like, and then 2 years, because I've lost my account, and then I went onto a new account. I got banned off that recently. I had 6,000 followers. They shut that one down like a couple of months ago, but they gave me my account back from 2 years ago, which is this one I'm using now. And it's like, it's got like all my town, all the people that I told the earth was flat 2 years ago. Like, a lot of them are more susceptible to it now. Like, a lot of the comments on the flat earth post are from people from my town. So it's like, fucking, I must have planted a fair few seeds back in the day.
Definitely, man.
Back in the day, like 2 years ago. It does feel like so long. I crammed so much into them 2 years. It's unreal.
When I was a lad.
What about you, Victoria?
What was the question? What were we on about? Sorry, I've been eating and stuff. I was listening a bit.
about going from that period of limbo where you've woken up and then telling your nearest and dearest. Who was the first nearest and dearest you told?
Oh, well, it was, well, my ex got me to watch the video, didn't he? And he didn't mention the flat earth, and I got a shock when the flat earth bit come on, because I'd missed the title, and it was the Dave Moore's one, the baseline. And then by the end of that video, I ran straight into him. So he was the first person I told, and said, he said, oh, did you watch it? And I said, yeah. And he said, oh, what do you think about the lands? The maps are wrong. And I went, forget about the maps, the earth's flat. And he went, no, it's not that, it's the other stuff. And he just totally ignored it. But from him, I think it was immediately, the next day, because it was late that evening, I rang my mum and my auntie. I've not really got a big set of family. I didn't have a lot of family and friends at that stage. So I rang my mum and my auntie and told them, just garbled all this stuff, what I found out. Because I watched the 2 videos and then carried on researching. But I straight away started telling people what I found out. So it was my mum, my auntie, and my only best friend at the time, which was Laura from school, and known her since she was 14. And everyone at first took it on what I was saying, but didn't agree or anything. And then I started getting feedback months later, but I didn't feel comfortable telling any of Steve's family, my ex's family, at the time. And it was, so this was June 2015 when I found out. And it was September 2015 when I actually went public with it, when I kicked my ex out.
Right.
But I kicked him out, and I think about a week later, within a week of me kicking him out, I went public on my timeline, and said, I basically did a post saying I've kicked my ex out for the first few paragraphs and told them the reasons why. Some of it was FE related as well. And the other half of it was, and I now know that the earth is flat, and these are my reasons why. And I found that anybody who was on my timeline at the time, the ones who weren't flat earthers, because it was like a 3-month period, so I'd already gathered friends, I'd already joined groups, I already set my own group up in this time as well, by the way. They was all like, wow, she's coming out of the closet, you know, the FE stuff. Totally ignoring the fact that I kicked, you know, the personal shit what I put on. And then all my non-flat earth people was like, oh, are you okay about the divorce and stuff like that? You know, leaving your husband, kick him out type of thing. So they totally ignored the flat earth stuff. And obviously I'd only told the 3 people. I told the kids, my eldest 2. And then after that, it was, I don't know, that was it really. That was it.
and since then, have you, like, from then till now, what kind of rate of progression would you all say you've gone through from that initial stage of awakening to now? You know, if you were to look at when you started that initial set of friends.
It was at first, I reckon the first, from May until about the February, because I had a lot of personal stuff I had to go through when I first found FE after with my ex-husband. So I started out, I said the first 8 months I was full on, it was just going faster and faster and faster, and the momentum was just growing very fast. And then I had to go through the courts, and it was over the FE stuff when he took me to court. And I weren't allowed to post online or associate with anyone on who was flat earth. And so when I went into like a form of depression with it. So I went from going, like, just because it was like how Tom was building his profile up and getting all his shit out there, to halt. I put the brakes on. I put my stuff back to private only, because I was getting stalked and things like that by him. I've not really said this stuff public before, so it's like one of the first times.
Wow,
not the first time telling people, but the first time public.
Yeah.
And I went through a lot of shit, really, basically. And so I had to like completely go offline. And then when the courts ended, 16 months months later, I started gradually building my stuff up, but then I went through just the trauma of everything. It was quite hard last year. I felt quite low over it, and then I had one moment where I went from feeling like, you know, I've gone through all this stress to waking up to feeling like a new person again. And then from that moment on, which was October last year, it is just absolutely skyrocketed. No, in that time, obviously, I've been setting camps up and doing groups and doing meetups and doing activism and stuff, but it was not as fast from this last October, since I left that other group, which I mentioned before. It's just absolutely snowballed. I don't know if it has for you, Ruben.
Yeah, definitely. It's been awesome. Do I want to talk about the group?
We could do it in like an indirect way.
Yeah, Ruben, man.
You know what I mean? It's just because the only thing is, I think if anything goes negative, it just starts going into, and other hangouts pop up and
yeah.
No, I think we could go back to what we were saying earlier, right? Do you remember what we were saying earlier about, you know, everyone's opinion is going to be everyone's opinion, right? Doesn't mean the opinion is right or wrong. There's, you know, there's right, wrong, and then there's the truth, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah. Nobody's got it 100% right, yeah, because we don't know the full truth, do we? We ain't got the actual funding to do proper experiments, you know what I mean? We can prove, yeah, that water finds its level, yeah, that gravity is only a theory, so it doesn't need disproving because it hasn't ever been proven, yeah? And we know that there is no measurable curvature anywhere at any height. So we know that's our proof that the Earth is flat, yeah? And what that's what I mean. We don't need to prove any design or model because we're stabbing around in the dark. We ain't got a clue. Do you know what I mean? But we do know the Earth is flat. We do know it's not a fucking spinning space ball shooting through an endless vacuum. Vacuum means devoid of matter. Yeah, nothing physical can exist inside a vacuum.
I think Chris was bang on when he said that we don't need to prove it's flat. We just need to show them it's not a ball.
Disprove the ball. Get them to try and prove their spinning ball to us, and that's all we need to do.
Yeah.
I think the flat stuff is massive and amazing, and we can still use that, obviously, but I think it's a really good angle to come in for us extra. I think the more the merrier, the more ideas and ways we can get this across to people, the better, because some ways will fit some ways will fit others, and some ways we haven't even thought of yet what will fit the rest. So we've just got to keep going at it from every angle, I think.
Yep. Straight.
And I agree with what Ruben was saying earlier on. I'm one of the people that do feel that activism, that I don't think there can ever be enough of it. I really don't think
not.
I think the day there's enough of it is when
even little small acts of activism, like writing things down, like little just leaving notes on trains, anything.
Listen, like you said,
it all adds up.
About the base of the pyramid, Victoria. See if everybody is the foundation of that base activated.
Yep.
Well, what you said would happen.
Yeah.
It would just the structure.
Well,
you know, and then we would get somewhere.
Yeah.
Every person is a normal individual like us to activate themselves into a public truth speaker.
Yeah.
About the truth, then we would start to get somewhere. So, you know, it worries me when it does worry me. I'm not, you know, it doesn't worry me that people won't be able to do that, because my partner, he's a little bit kind of about going out there into the public. I don't think it's for everybody. And nobody's perfect. We're all going to make mistakes from time to time. And I do think it's very important for us to hone our skill and to sharpen our tools as far as our delivery is concerned when we're out on the front line, myself included. I was walking around saying 52 million pounds. Why was I walking around saying 52 million pounds? Like 52 million pounds, give me a break. But I was passionate. And when you're in the moment, you don't kind of clock what you're saying. But it's very true that if we're going to go out there on the front line and talk to people like that, you know, I myself want to have it as correct as I possibly can. And if I'm saying something that I can't particularly be finite about, then I'd rather not say it instead of doing the truth a detriment, instead of doing it a service.
The thing is, though, Rox, what you just said there.
Activism all the way.
Sorry, I was just going to say what you said there about worrying about not getting the exact, knowledge across. Sometimes, we do fuck up, and we say we mix up. We mix up our our numbers or whatever, and then we get caught on camera. Usually, that's the time when we've mixed our numbers up and said the wrong thing, and then you'll get some dickhead over there say "shill." Do you know what I mean? Disinfo agent, just because we mix up some numbers. But people have got to realise that we're just real people, and we do make mistakes, but we do know our stuff. But sometimes we're saying that much stuff that sometimes we can repeat the wrong thing as well at times. And do you know what? Get over it. Just pull us up and say, "Hey, you've just got them numbers wrong there," and we'll go, "Oh yeah."
Day long constructive criticism. Hit me up with it.
Constructive criticism's all right, but it's when they start being personal and giving insults out, and there's no need for that, is there? It's toxic behaviour.
Yeah, and I'm all for the humiliative attitude, and I think dealing with the subject this serious, I need to improve myself daily. I've been triggered over the last few weeks on things that I really 3 months ago would not have thought I'd have got triggered over. And, as long as I'm able to look at myself and say, all right, well, next time I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better than that next time. I'm not going to go on like that.
It's called being a human being, having emotions and not fucking, like you said, with the scripts.
Living in the moment, not harboring it, Anyone who I've had cross words with, it's not like say I harbor it, The next time I see them, I'm just going to live in that moment. I'm not bringing up stuff from before. I'm just going to be there now in that moment.
Yeah,
but there's no point. Let me give you an example, Say I was speaking to someone 5 years ago that was an alcoholic, and really fucking struggling with their life, and I hadn't seen them in 5 years ago. Am I going to talk to them 5 years later, still as an alcoholic person that they were? Or am I just going to take them as they are now and find out for myself what's good? Do I have to bring the harboring that I had for what they were doing back then into the now? Because what if now they're different? So
definitely.
To be in the now, to be in the right now. And just quickly chiming in on what was said before about the models and stuff, like all I pertain to know is that I'm on I feel like I'm on some kind of infinite flat plane of existence, but I don't have a visual representation for that in my head. It's the only thing that I can convey verbally to justify what's going on in my reality. So I say that. But again, was
that what model you would say for you?
I wouldn't, because I can't visualize it in my brain. A particular model, because for me to
can I just back up what you're saying there? Like the way I see it is, does consciousness have an edge? Like, where's the edge of consciousness? Because that's what creates this reality, is our consciousness. Our consciousness creates this reality. So where's the edge of your consciousness? There isn't, is there? So the infinite thing does make more sense. Like, and if there is an enclosure, it's only because of our beliefs, maybe, because we haven't got the capacity to comprehend anything else yet. Do you know what I mean? So I just generally think when people say, "Oh, where's the edge?" and that, right? When people say, "Oh, what about the creator? What created the creator?" We don't even know what we are or where we live. So what gives us the right to ask that question? You know what I mean? It's that's just an escape, a cop out. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, yeah." They don't want to accept. They don't even want it. Even if you had the answer, they wouldn't accept it.
Even if, like, me personally, I don't particularly prescribe to any model, but I do have full respect for those that have slowed down enough to try and work some type of model.
Yeah, of course,
yeah.
And even though
I think
I'm open to everything, but equally skeptical.
Into it, a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I'm sure a lot of sleepless nights. I'm sure a lot of I can't sleep because I can't stop thinking about this. Sometimes I only have to think into some of the research that I used to do. It would have me up all night, all weekend. I'd be researching something, and I wouldn't clock the amount of time I put into it. And I think we're all, not us particularly, society's too quick to poo-hoo people. You see it on the TV with people heckling people all the time, football matches. People are too quick to poo-hoo people when they don't understand the effort that's gone behind the scenes. Even with footballers. Footballers train rigorously, and all they have to do is come out on the pitch like that, and they get heckled and stuff. Like, they're supposed to come out like that, every time kind of thing. And I think a lot of pressure is put on people where, you know, they have been looking at data, even like Chris UK, you know, he spent a lot of time looking at the data, a lot of time, where me personally, that's not for me, which is why I really want to encourage and be inclusive to the people that are. And that's what the truth's going to need. The truth's going to need the best researchers, the best data workers, the best public speakers that humanity has got to offer. The best of the best of the best of the best in awake people need to be pushing this at the very front. At the very front.
Yeah, you're right. What you're saying there is exactly what I agree with, which is that with the takes, there's all sorts for all sorts.
The model's going to be right. One of these days, you know, the model's going to be bang on. One of these days.
Well, you know, going back to the model, for me personally, the model was the nearest I can think now. Obviously, the AE model is, I think that definitely represents our, I call it Middle Earth, what we're living in. But I like the idea, and it is just theory based now. Martin Kenny's Cosmic Egg, basically, because I've looked into that. I've watched this video a few times now, and I've watched a digital version by some American guy, which was amazing as well, which condensed it. It didn't seem to have everything what Martin said, but it had enough to basically show you a little bit of a working CGI model, which was still good. But for me, that encompassed the outer lands and even extra lands were not thought of, and also the inner lands in the North Pole, which it goes back off a lot of the ancient maps, which I've looked into myself, because you have to basically we all have our field of what we're interested in, and it's going to take this for us all to be able to collaborate our information, because we can't all research every fucking thing. We just physically can't. There's just no physicality possible to do that. So we all need to specialize in what we're interested in. So if you're interested in, you can become passionate about it. If you're passionate about it, you put effort in. If you put effort in, you'll get something from it. So that's the way forward, I think. And then we come together, like what Roxanne said. She needs the best, the best, the best, the best. It's literally just you become the best in the thing what you're interested in, and then you're the best of that field. Even if someone else is doing the same thing, it's not everyone's not doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean? So that it goes in every single thing in the flat earth thing. Now, if you like dabbling in bits and everything, because I'm a buffet type of girl. I like buffets because I like a bit of everything. Me. So I might not be brilliant at everything. Some things I'm better at than others. But I do like having a little dabble here, there and everywhere. But some people just like sticking to one thing, and that's their fucking thing. And that's awesome, because they're actually a specialist because they've specialized in that thing. Definitely. So that's what we need. So
everyone plays their own role. Like, everyone's got something to do, you know.
Yeah.
That debate between university students and allegedly Dave, and there was another couple of guys with him on the debate.
Sean Connors, Darren Nesbitt, Iru Landucci.
That was a good debate.
I was on the very end as a translator, but I wasn't needed. Iru was all right. His English was good.
Yeah, and you were there.
Yeah. I was sitting on the end next to Iru Landucci.
Where was that filmed?
In Birmingham, in the Jury's Inn.
Okay, and how was that like in person?
That was amazing.
On what I watched.
It was amazing. It was great. Met a lot of people. As we were saying earlier, someone brought up the fact that it was their first time meeting another flat earther. There was a lot of people there at the convention. It was like, oh my God, it's the first time I meet a flat earther. And there was like, I forget the number now, how many people were there. So it was really exciting to see that look in someone's face, you know. I think we've met hundreds. Like we've met hundreds now, but for them to first meet someone, like there was a guy called Andy Pandy, really nice guy, and he jumped out of like there was a little break, a little recession that happened, and he jumped out of nowhere. And me coming from where I'm from, I was like, oh my God, this guy's gonna stab me. And he just came up and he's like, oh my God, I've seen you in the videos and John Smith, blah, blah. And yeah, and he's just hugging me. And I was like, yeah, wicked. Like my instincts, the first thing was like, I'm going to get.
Protect yourself.
And yeah, he was the nicest person ever. And he's always in Harry's videos commenting. And he's a really, really nice guy. Andy Pandy, top lad. And there was a lot of people there that you've met online and you're friends for a while. And finally meeting them, shaking their hand, and it's a beautiful thing, man. It was a marvelous experience. And as Gary John, the organizer, said, I think, and I agree, it is everything. You know, we need the conventions, because there was a lot of people there that were there because they were curious, and by the time they left, whether they agreed with a model or not, they could see why flat Earth was catching on and why it was important. And do you know what I mean? It wasn't that much ridicule. There was a few, but not as much as we were expecting. You know, it's a great time now, I think.
You know what you said there, Ruben, about we need the conventions and things like that? Well, I'm going to give a shout out to Colin now, and I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning this, but Colin Smith, he basically has come up with this idea, which I think is absolutely awesome, which is to do an open air convention, but basically we do it where we just get a farmer's field, like for camping, a campsite, so we can camp at the same time. Everyone brings a chair, and if you've got a spare chair, you know, a fold-up chair, you bring that. We can either erect a stage or just literally bring mics and some form of speaker system. If we can get if it's going to be bad weather, obviously we need some form of shelter, so we can just get some gazebos, so we can get these things. People can muck in and bring what they've got, and if we need to chuck in and buy, we can literally chuck in like a few quid each and get some. And then you're literally just paying the farmer to camp. And we say we're going to do if he wants like add a little fee on or whatever, it wouldn't be much. So we're looking at like we could do an open air convention, because I'm sure we could get people to come and speak for nothing, and we could do it that way. What do you reckon?
That's awesome.
UK based.
And I think it should be. I'm just going to throw it out there. I think it should be a free to attend event.
Oh God, anyone that's what I mean. It's anyone. You just have
you only pay to camp.
Pay to camp. Pay to camp and
like what? Yeah, that's it. Basically.
And if you come in for the day, then basically we just, if the farmer wants a day fee for like a couple of quid, because you're looking at camping's anything from £7 to, it can depend on camps, like £18 per person per night, or maybe £20 depending on some. So that's why much some camp. I tend to go for campsites that are not no more than £10 per person per night. And when you're looking at, if you can get someone who's quite open to like a farmer's field, which Colin knows a few people, and we've already just been visiting someone who we might be able to even do that there. We can get our little foot in the door, which we're trying to. Then we can use the field, and in general, a lot of people will be open to just, well, we just say we're having a meetup where we're going to have some, and we could even have like of an evening, we can have people who do some form of entertainment for the evening. Do you know what I mean? Like people who have guitars and people who write songs, and we've got a few bands and a few groups as well, like who want to put some evening entertainment on. In the day we could do the talks, and of an evening we could have like a relaxing little jam and that. And then we were in the campfire and nice food, and then we camp out.
I'm thinking we can go even one better than that. I'm thinking we can try and do something and put something together where we can try and raise the funds to pay for all the camping, so that everyone turns up, doesn't have to pay for camping.
Well, that's the thing, Roxanne. Yeah, you could have a kitty together. You could have a kitty for people who can't afford. But the thing is, most people can afford. You're looking at like 20 to 40 quid for the weekends.
Yeah,
that's it.
So as long as it's like heavily subsidised or free for some people, I think that's a definite way.
The ones who can't, right? What we've always done, and I've always done it myself. Anyone who I know who can't make it or is struggling, it's only because of money. If I've got it, I'll throw money at them. I always have done. So, and I know you're like that yourself, Roxanne. So what we do is, and hopefully people will not take the piss. Do you know what I mean? Because in general, There's no one deserves not to go just because of funds. So you help each other out. When someone's on their ass, you fucking help them out, because one day you might be on your ass.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's exactly right. Well said, my darling. But I think that's a definite good idea there. I think, you know, making it a bit more of an extended weekender, getting some independent music artists to perform there for nothing as well, and get them involved in the time. I think that's. And
then we could even go out the day after or the day before, whichever day the thing is, and do some activism in the local town.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think,
do you know what I mean?
It makes it more socially accepted. Again, it's just another step towards it being majorly socially accepted. And I think it has to get to that level before the scientific community, governments, and the whole establishment gets dealt with. Because now, like I said earlier, when I went out, I was stunned by how many people didn't know us. You know? Yeah. I mean, I got people that I didn't know to hold the banner up with me. To begin with, the guy at Piccadilly, the guy at Leicester Square, the guy at Trafalgar Square, you know, I didn't know it. I didn't know them from Adam. 2 of them were Spanish tourists, and within 30 seconds of asking them, do you think, you know, NASA lies? They were holding a banner up with me. So was the Asian guy. His English was pidgin English, but it resonated with him so much so that he was prepared to stand up with it like that. So I think we're in a time where so much legwork's already been done that we're already in that time of, okay, we've definitely got a proportion of people's attention, and we can see the mainstream media doing everything they can to subdue it, you know, constantly.
Yeah.
Subdue it and ridicule it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
definitely.
I'm just checking the chat. That's why I've shut up.
We all went like awkward silence.
It's because I weren't talking. Yeah, I forgot what we were saying now because I just started checking that chat.
Yeah,
Good night.
You weren't listening.
Good night, Leslie.
No night, Leslie, darling. With social acceptance.
Good night, Leslie.
Good night, Les. Tomorrow.
Yeah, he's gone to bed. There's a few people going to bed.
It's getting late.
What do you think needs to be done to have the majority socially accept the discussion of flat Earth and other truths? What do you think is the next couple of steps that you feel need to be implemented?
Oh, for socially accepting it.
You know, at the school.
I just think it's what we're doing. I think it's what we're doing. It's just doing what we're doing. Keep coming up with new ideas. Keep pushing it out there. The more the merrier, because the more that it's in, like, it's seeds being planted in people's heads. Even like you said, if it's not even if it's not like the positive side, what they're thinking, at least it's still there in the back of their heads that there's people out there doing these things and saying these things. And then it's, I don't know, I actually think we could come up with, I've got a few ideas of coming up with like some form of almost like I come up with it a while ago, like a conspiracy Bible type thing. I don't know why I use the word Bible, which shouldn't done because it's a religious thing, but meaning where you can start off and it's like, you know, like, or like a computer game type thing, where you start off on one level, and then when you get to that level, then you have certain other levels where it springs off from and it leads on to these other, and you can choose what you lead on to. So then you go off on that tangent, and every time you go off on that tangent, you can choose to go on to the next level, which leads on to loads of other things, or you can go back and do the next bit, what you missed out on the other level, and you can keep, you know, just to keep finding. So basically, it's an information tree, and that you keep jumping to the next bit, whatever takes your fancy, and then it can lead on to either flat Earth or whatever, depending on which route you take. And I just thought something like that would be a good idea. But doing it, I wouldn't have a clue how to do anything like that.
I definitely think open debates as well, like Tom was suggesting earlier on.
Yeah, open debates is definitely where it's at. Like, not many people are doing it. Everyone's like, a lot of people are doing hangouts. There's no wrong with these hangouts, but like, it'd be so much. Like, imagine now if there was a Glober in this chat now, or a couple of Globers, like, imagine the chat would be having some of the things that would be getting said would just be mind blowing, and from both sides as well, because like they'd be getting questions balled at us that we're not ready for. We ain't got time to Google, so we just got to think of authentic answers. Do you know what I mean? It's like, That's what we're missing out. That's what no one's doing.
Yeah, and it's like what Tom said, but it's also, it's good to watch, because the trouble with information for me personally is if it's boring, if someone presents it boringly, I have to switch off. So if something
I've just had a message from Cece. I invited him to the chat room to come and chat, and he's like, yeah, I'll be there in about 2 guys. But guys, he's just messaged me. And I'm saying this because of how the message ends, so it's all right to say this. He says, you're actually not going to believe this. All digital service is down in my area. My phone just about works. My phone just about works, but you cannot even buy gas here without cash right now. I will I will be on and explain. So I'm going to send him the link, but he's saying this is literally just happened momentarily. Every piece of digital service is down, and he's in Westchester County, New York. Westchester County.
It's mad that he says that, yeah, because earlier on in the previous chat, we actually mentioned that if the power went down and things like that, we actually said them words. So for it to actually happen, that's fucking nuts.
Wow. Yeah. So I'm just going to tell him to let me know when he's ready for the link, guys. And then I'm going to send him the link and he's going to come on. Me personally, I'm not in a rush. I'm a lady of leisure now. I work for myself. I'm not in a PAYE anymore. So I have a school run in the morning, and then I have my house. I've got a few people coming over at the end of the week. So I kind of want to square up my house for them, you know. I've not met some of them before in real life. So this will be interesting. Oh, look, 2 of you are there. Oh, and look, I've met you in real life. So, yeah, so I've got bits and pieces to do in the house, but I'm not in any rush whatsoever. I've got my whole life to talk about the truth, so I'm not rushing anyone off. No one's in any. If no one's in a rush, neither am I.
I'm all right for a bit longer yet, like about an hour-ish, maybe. I couldn't put a time, but I couldn't have a dead late one, because otherwise what'll happen is I'll be like, and usually carry on talking, I'll just be in the background snoring.
So yeah, Cece will be on in a bit. And what I was going to say, Tom, if you'd like to let everybody in the chat room, and for playback reasons, know what you're about with this debate movement at the moment.
Right now, basically, I'm calling out for people to come debate me live on YouTube like this. What I was going to do one earlier on. But the thing is, I ain't got a laptop. I didn't realize you can't do these live. I can't invite people from a phone, from a device, from an Android device. So I'm pretty screwed now. I need a laptop to do it, unless I can get them to invite me on their channel. But
from a laptop. But yeah, can I tell them what happened?
Go on.
I said, right, because we've never done it before or anything. I said, right, well, do you know what? Let's just go live for a few minutes now, and you try and invite me. So I went into the other room just to see if we could just invite me. So we went live for a few minutes, and oh my God, we just looked ridiculous. Well, I couldn't see me.
She was saying that I wasn't live. Yeah, so I'm saying to her, I'm like, well, it says here I've been live for 20 seconds, but it was all live. Do you know what I mean? So I looked right twat, and it was I couldn't delete it for ages. And I was fucking getting pissed off.
It was dead funny, right? And he's going, "Is it?" And he was like, and he's hadn't even done his camera angle or anything like that. Oh. And I'm in the other room going, "No, I can't see nothing." And he's going, like just. And then there was people watching straight away. So I know he's getting really frustrated after it, like we put it off, and he was getting really frustrated because he couldn't delete it. I was just going, it's just your ego. Just say it don't matter. No one's bothered. He's going.
So I've even said that in the meantime, Tom, if someone wants to debate you, then arrange a time. And then
it's not just him, not Sam. I'm jumping as well.
I'm the one that fucking called him out. I don't see you calling people out on your timeline and on your YouTube. No, that's what I'm saying. Though it is. I'm the only one now. I'm sharing it everywhere. Put it on my Twitter. Put it on everywhere. I want fucking people to debate. I want to do this every day. I want this authentic thing, and because I know for a fact they ain't got a leg to stand on. I ain't got nothing to prove. They've got to prove their ball to me.
You're right, and it is your thing, but you did ask for a team, and I did say straight away.
Yeah, but I'm saying there, like, do you know what I mean? You was trying to claim to fame then. You're not the one posting it out, and you know what I mean? So I'm just putting you back in your box. You know what I mean?
I will. If anyone thought I was claiming Tom's idea as my own and claim to fame, then I just want to retract that, because I wasn't. I was just saying you asked for a team, and I said I would be a member.
Now you're backtracking. It's
well,
a bit cringy. Let's just change the subject. I'm going to show you up live on TV. Do you know what I mean? You know what it is? It's fucking flat Earth TV, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? There's no more real than flat Earth TV.
But we do need a team, because at the end of the day, we need as many people who want to be involved as possible, especially people who have specialised in certain things as well, because obviously, why is it making an echo?
Someone's got it on speaker.
Has no one got a speaker? It might be your thing, Ruben.
Headphones.
Yeah.
Is that better?
I don't know. Yeah, there's no echo now.
Okay. Well,
he's wounded. He's like, yeah, I'm chilling with my phone.
we just. Sorry, there was just like a repetitive echo of our voices when we was talking.
I know it's bad enough hearing our voices once, isn't it? Fuck's sake.
You know what? I want to see more. There's do you guys know Shazwa Bugti?
No,
check him out. He's that's his name on YouTube and on Facebook. He was the first flat earther that I came across on Facebook, because he had a link on one of his videos. So he was the first person who I spoke to, and he encouraged me to open a channel and stuff, start a channel. But he got flat earth into I think it was a college or a university of some sort in Pakistan. Mm. So that was really cool. Like, I think he spoke to the teacher or the professor, whatever, and just got it through to him and said, like, do you mind if I show your students this? And you can go to his channel, Shazwa Bugti, check that out. And that was amazing. That's a milestone, I think, and the kids would obviously ask stuff like gravity and whatever, but
I'm just having a check.
It's worth a watch, I think. It's a couple of months ago now, probably. I can't even remember how long ago, but it's good. He's a good researcher.
Yeah, awesome. Put that in the chat.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you text me, Ruben, and then I'll put it in the chat.
Sure.
I'm just not sure how to spell it, so
I'm shit at spelling. I said I'm shit at spelling, so if it weren't for autocorrect, I wouldn't be able to spell half the time. I'm good at knowing the words and saying them, but I don't know what they mean. But bloody spelling the buggers. Not all words, but some words, it's just beyond me.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about was where we're at with things right now, with the online platforms, with interacting with people as real human beings like this. How do you guys feel about more hangouts like this, more activism on people's feeds? Like on the activism, would you agree that it would be helpful if, like, Victoria, you touched on this earlier on about the cameras, the like little GoPros and that, like little cameras that you can wear.
A body cam,
because
a body cam and a microphone.
And John Smith Globe is doing content, but it's just
the more content, the better.
Yeah, the more the better. Like, the more that floods it, the better. Like, if everyone's feed could just be flooded with activism and flooded with new bits and pieces coming up, so that everyone can see the conversation is still current, it's still up to now, it's still up to it, if you know what I mean. How does everyone?
Yeah, because obviously Harry's only catching the conversations that he's engaging in, and the odd one that is coming past when he's walking past. Do you know what I mean? So, like,
he's not an octopus,
like, say, like, we were there for 4 hours. He's caught, like, say 2.5 hours of himself. Do you know what I mean? And like little odd bits of everyone else. Whereas we could get like 4 hours of ourselves, 4 hours of him, and it'd just be amazing footage.
Well, he's actually said as well he wants to focus on doing some roving stuff a bit more as well now. But like what Tom said, that's really important. That I think that we had the camera and the microphone on us each, and then any snippets or any full-blown conversations that we have that are important, that we think that should be out there, we can snip them out and then put them out there. Do you know what I mean? We don't need to put the whole rest of it out there. But we've at least not worrying about trying to film it ourselves, or then you just organically, like you said, organically have conversations, and then you don't have to worry about it. You've got it, caught it all, instead of thinking, oh, that was amazing. Because when you finish your activism, because most of the time it hasn't been caught and things like that, you're like, oh, wow, I had the most amazing conversation with this person, or wow, they was shocking how they was, you know, giving it this and giving it that. And you just can't reiterate it the same as hearing it, for you know, as it's happening. Do you know what I mean?
Correct. Can I just ask Ruben again, what was the name of that guy? Because I'm just going to share it into the chat room now.
Shazwa Bugti.
Can you just give the chat room just a quick synopsis again of what this guy's about? Because I'm just about to share it in the chat room, and I think it would be really useful for everyone to go and look at this, because, you know, judging from what you just said a second ago, I know there's new people that are coming into the chat room, Ruben, so I just thought for their basis, just to quickly repeat again what the guy's about.
Sure. This guy is a good researcher. He's been there for a while. Not just flat Earth, he does other stuff as well. But yeah, he was invited by the principal of this school to come and talk about flat Earth, and he just does like some justice to the cause. You know, he gets the people's like thinking, and he just has a good presentation in that.
Yeah, got a good approach.
Yeah, he's got a good angle. So I highly recommend Shazwa. Check his channel out if you can. Most people can't pronounce that. I know John Thor can't. John Thor loves his content, but he can't pronounce his name. So it's SHAHZWAR Bugti.
Sorry, stop. Say that again and I'll start spelling it. Sorry, go on.
Sure. SHAHZWAR surname Bugti, BUGTI. Okay. That's his name on Facebook as well, and his YouTube channel.
Brilliant. I've just shared that into the chat room and the link for the channel. So excellent stuff. Do Tom and Victoria and Ruben, do you have any recommendations like that as well? Do you have any channels that you would say, you know, to people it'd be probably useful to check those out?
Well, obviously there's the ODD. I'd recommend him to anyone at the moment. He goes into deep research about everything. He opens things up. Eric DeBay, I've got to hand it to the guy. If it wasn't for him, there would not be any flat earthers, and that's serious, yeah. Because before 2014, there was no mention of flat Earth. Do you know what I mean? There was only the Flat Earth Society. So like, and there's all this shill slinging about him and that, but I've got to hand it to him. That 200 proofs.
And then there's the truth. And if we remove our personality,
yeah, that's what I mean. You can discern from everything. But yeah, there's oh wait there.
I've got one.
Dorji Jacker as well. He posts some good stuff.
Okay, Tom, if you can you post any of the links for all these channels in the chat room so that you can see that? Yeah.
I've got one. One of our close friends, Danny Draymond's channel, Flat Out Truth.
Yeah, Flat Out Truth.
She's
Red Flag Media.
Red Flag.
Yeah, Red Flag Media, definitely. That's Connor, isn't it? Connor J.
Can you share some of these in the chat room, Tom?
Dave Marsh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Dave Moore, Dave Marsh. I think it's allegedly Dave on YouTube, isn't it?
Fantastic.
Richie from Boston.
I think I'm going to try and help with sharing some of these bits and pieces, but if I can leave it to one person to do, that would be great. If anyone else is in the chat room and they're a mod and they're able to do that, that'd be super helpful as well.
Obviously, there's John Smith's Global as well.
Yeah, John Smith's Global.
And on John Smith's channel, there's a new piece of content on there as well with some information about the activism that we're doing next week, Sunday in London. Some info on there about what we're doing next week. So that's on John Smith Globalized channel now. amongst other amazing stuff that's being done out on the street just now. Amazing stuff. And actually, I got something interesting to tell everyone. I'm meeting Karen from Sun and Moon on the 21st of June.
Wow.
With her. I asked her out for lunch, and I said, yeah, go on then. I'll make a pilgrimage to you, and we'll go out for lunch, and we'll have some lunch. And Harry's going to come as well and chum me.
Well,
on the 21st, what day is that?
That's in the week. Yeah, that's in the week. So I'm going to make a pilgrimage to Felixstowe.
Oh, wow.
Up in the northeast. No, not really too north, but you know, it's a little way still. But I think this is the kind of thing that I want to do. I want to kind of go out of my way and meet people that are like-minded and actually get to know them in real life. Because what opportunity we will not all walk across the street and bump into all these people. Ruben, I can't think of a time where I'm going to bump into you in my local Sainsbury's. We live at opposite ends of London. And I think if anyone's from London in the chat room, you could drive to Manchester in the time it takes you to drive across London.
Yeah.
Really. Really. I could probably get all the way to Manchester before Ruben would get over here if he drove.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think we have to, you know, be selfless about it and say, no, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to go out of my way and keep going out of my way and keep meeting people and keep making connections and keep having, you know, the momentum pushing forward. Because if we just rest back on our laurels, if we just all sit back and twiddle our thumbs and wait for something or someone to do something, then that's when it will get stagnant and the baton will just get dropped. Another couple of generations will die off and they'll just reset it and start again. So I'm really excited about meeting Karen. I'm going to do that on the 21st, and I'm going to try and do, I don't know, try and stream something while I'm there.
Are you going to be going anywhere near Liverpool before you come back down for obviously the weekend? Because if obviously,
no, I'm not even going that far. I'm not even going as far up as Manchester. I'm only going a little bit up and then back to London.
Right.
So it's not. It's like literally an hour and a bit from where I live to drive there.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then I'm back the same day. So I'm only going there for a few hours, and then I'm back to get organised for everybody arriving towards the weekend. So yeah. And the weekend is packed. We're looking to do bits at the weekend, isn't it, guys? It's not just London, you know. I don't know. Does anyone want to break formation and do the whole chit chat about Saturday? It's exciting.
Definitely. Is it Portsmouth?
We're going on a road trip. Road trip to the coast. Going to the coast. I'm looking. Listen, the CC uploaded the most awesome vista, as well as 007. I've got to hand it to them too with the vistas. 007's roof garden. My chin hit the floor the first time he flipped his camera around and went, yeah, go and have a look at what I'm looking at. And I just went, I've got smoggy London and you're there with that kind of vista. And the same as Cece, he was on the beach with this infinite flat line of horizon behind him, you know, just awesome view. So I thought with everyone coming down to London, what a great opportunity to just go another hour down the road and get to the coastline. I think it's a good opportunity to go and speak to some people in public. And we're also going to get an opportunity to meet some people coming over from the Isle of Wight as well. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. It's
going to be awesome.
We're taking some visual aids out onto the roads as well. So I think envelopes are going to get pushed this time. I think Harry's gone to bed, so I don't want to steal his thunder at all. I think we'll just keep the surprises for the day. But there's not one, but there's a possibility of there being 2 visual aids on the road that day.
Yeah, we took one to Liverpool.
You did?
You brought one to Liverpool.
Okay.
One, yeah.
It's going to be adapted. I think he's updating it a little bit and moderating it a little bit, modifying it a little bit, and something else as well, which I'm not going to disclose on the chat room because it's a surprise.
Top secret.
I haven't got confirmation that it's going to be there. So when I do get confirmation that it's going to be there, because I need assistance with that because I can't fully understand it by myself. So yeah, fingers crossed for that. But it's going to be a full day down at the coast on Saturday, and then frontlining.
It just intrigues me now. I want to know what that is.
The suspense, huh? It's very cool. I'm telling you, it's really cool. And if you can wrap your head around it, it's probably going to be like Chris UK's content. you know, if Chris UK's content is proving that we're stationary, then this content that is the undisclosed content is proving beyond reasonable doubt that we are on a flat plane of existence. And story. Like finito, done.
I have an idea.
And it's flat
what it is.
So
flat
yeah,
line.
with those two in tangent with each other, we've got Chris UK's, and that to me is like the most update up to the minute proof that we're on a stationary plane. I don't have confirmation of that. Do you? Do I? Wait. There's so many names.
I think
right?
he is.
If that is the case, yeah. If someone can confirm, then that's brilliant. Is that the case? That is awesome.
I'll have a look.
I don't know how much we can say on the Hangout about who's confirmed and who's not confirmed. I don't know who's got an actual. This is self-evident of there being no hierarchy and everyone's just mucking in. There's no one walking around.
Definitely.
I'm coming.
Yeah, I'm going. Definitely. I wouldn't miss it.
Ruben, you're coming.
Yes, definitely.
I know that
we're
reaching out to people privately, and I know that maybe privately we may have had, you know, innocent conversations with people that said, yeah, I'll come, but we're having an organic conversation here, so I don't know about openly discussing people when they're not here. Does that make sense where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I know Leslie doesn't mind because he was on the other chat, but I know other people are, and I would mention, like you said, but I don't know if they want to be told to be said that they're coming. So but basically there's a few of the familiar faces, and it's open to anybody, all the new faces as well. So the more the merrier, and the more new faces the better as well, because once you get over that initial worries that you're gonna get yourself into trouble or whatever, and you realize you're not, and them nerves and stuff like that, it's awesome, because what a lot of people do is they'll stand back and they'll watch at first, and then people come to them and they might ask them very gently a question, and then they'll answer it. So it almost becomes organic. So you don't have to go out there like me with a motor mouth and start espousing it to random people whether they like it or not. That's not for everybody's way. But you'll find your own way, and whether you just want to stand by and watch and get there gradually, or you want to participate, that it's each to their own. But it's just nice to be around people, to be around us again. Like when I say us, I mean like-minded souls, and be doing something positive. So
well said, absolutely well said. Well said. And with you, Ruben, can we count on you being there, darling?
Yeah, I'm there.
You're publicly able to say that as well, yeah? That's awesome. That's awesome. And, like I was saying, we're going to be around other people. We are going to be around a lot of other people that are there talking about other things. But I truly, truly feel that we're going to be able to connect with these people on levels that are beyond.
Especially the ones that are like you say, the Grenfell Towers lot, and people like that are going to be a lot more susceptible to the truth because they've been through traumatic experience. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know what I always found as well, the activism, and I think Tom and Ruben and yourself, Roxanne, will probably see this, or you have come across it at least, when you come across other flat earthers, random ones that are just walking past, and they come over and they like congratulate you of that you're getting the word out there, or they say stuff that, like I mentioned, the guy at Sheffield, and there's been a few that have just come up to us and like, wow, I've come across it. And I've, like, when we went to Whitby, someone came over and went, yeah, I'm a flat earther. And I was like, oh, we've got one over here. You know, it's like ringing a bell. Ring, ding, ding. I won't do that to anyone who doesn't want me to. But no, it's just nice to meet someone who didn't even know who was going to be there. And then there they are, and they're like, wow, it's awesome. So yeah, that's good.
No, it is. It is. It's going to be really refreshing. And I think, Tom, you're going to get an opportunity to maybe debate some people face to face.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Right, I'll do that anyway, like in the activism, yeah. So, but there's going to be a lot more strong opinionated people there, because obviously it's Speakers Corner. It's going to be, yeah. I'm excited, but a bit butterflies in my stomach when I think about it as well.
Have you guys done Speaker's Corner before? Have any of you done Speaker's Corner with
No.
Never been.
No.
Okay, so obviously you know what Speaker's
I've seen it though. I've seen it on that social experimentalist where he's got the megaphone.
Yeah, he starts speaking on a megaphone and like going over to him, going, "You can't have a megaphone." He only says, "You can't. It's a public park." And they're like, "You can't. It's it's the bylaw." Blah, blah, and he basically carries on.
and with this, for the first time, if you haven't been there doing activism like this before, for the first time, you're going to be in a situation where people are purposely there to listen to what people are saying. They're not going to Marks and Spencer's. They're not going Sainsbury's or Waitrose. They've come there specifically to hear what word on the that whole saying. What's the word on the street? What's the word?
Because that before TV and radio, that's where the word was. The word was on the street. Right. Do you know what I mean? That's where the word should be, on the street.
When you get it back to the street, which is what we're doing.
Yeah, this is it. This is it as far as movement of numbers of people are going to be going through. Sunday is the day that everyone's going to be there. That is going to go to Speaker's Corner. They're going to go on a Sunday. So in that sense, that I don't think there's, if you look at the numbers that they've recorded on recent months of being there, the numbers are quite amazing. The traffic, the human traffic that goes through that spot in a day is tens of thousands of people.
Whoa!
That's what I mean. And you've seen videos of it.
Yeah.
Just British
heaving,
people.
Absolutely heaving constantly.
Across the international flat plane of existence to go to that spot to see what it's about. So there's people that aren't just British. There's people from everywhere there. And there's people from everywhere to speak there as well, not just British people to speak. There's people everywhere. So it's going to be like the theme park of public speaking, so to speak.
Yeah, it'll be historic.
Yeah, massively. And that's why I want to be as inclusive as possible, because I feel like it's too big to not. It's too big an opportunity to not do it and miss up on it and be amongst people that are going to be there talking the same truth you're talking. And when you take away flat Earth, the one thing that we can all agree on, most probably, maybe not everyone, but the narrative of your government lies to you, everyone will more time nod their head.
Yeah.
There's going to be Article 13.
I think it's a great one to get people into flat Earth, actually, because that's one that everyone can usually nod at, like you said.
People talking about these innocent children that are not able to be given the medication of the oil, right, to stop their seizures. There's going to be those people there. These are people that we can resonate, because we know the government's not. They don't care about us, man. They don't care about us at all, man. They don't. Oh man, they don't. They will watch children suffer, and smack doctors on their hands for prescribing the medication to help the child. And you'll see a mother portrayed like some desperate victim by the mainstream media and ridiculed and shown in a not so flattering light, and we witness this. And people kind of batter an eyelid at it. They kind of get half-hearted about it, but we're going to see raw passion when we're there about these things. People that are spitting from the heart. There's going to be people that have lost people in Grenfell Tower there, spitting from the heart. We're going to be around a real kind of unique situation. And I feel that we've got to take every opportunity we get to resonate with as many people as we can, because I feel like we're only going to get one shot to make a first impression on these people. I feel it's incredibly more important on any other occasion, more so than this, to not be triggered on behalf of the truth, because our personalities are relevant. I don't have to like someone to tell them the truth, and they don't have to like me for doing it. I'm stripping the idol that they've worshipped for their whole life away with a few sentences. So of course they're going to hurl abuse at me. That's their idol, the globe. Woe betide anyone.
And they don't even realise it.
Right. So if we come across people that are talking conjectively to us, that are people that are from subjects where one has to be sensitive. If we've got people that are there activating for Grenfell and they're disagreeing with us, we can't start getting triggered at these people. It's too much for them. It's too much for everyone. This is like it isn't funny anyway, but it's not funny. It's just not funny. We can't allow ourselves to go there, because the truth's bigger than us, man. It's bigger than our emotion at the time. You know, our emotion might be compelled if someone swears at us to go right back at them, but we can't. I feel I can't, because the subjects with some of these people, I feel, is going to be so delicate that, you know, we don't want to end up in a situation where we're in the middle of a ruckus with thousands of people there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's not going to happen.
We have to handle this situation with care, especially if we're right beside people that are talking about, you know, children that have been lost unnecessarily.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anybody, even like, the thing is, obviously can't speak for anybody we don't know, but anybody who I know, obviously there's been situations where people have said, we said things back to people and stuff, but it's been, like you said, under completely different circumstances, and it's usually just been some gobshite coming over and giving it large. Whereas, like you said,
sorry, go on, darling.
I was just going to say, these are, like you said, very sensitive topics with very passionate people who are not just investing the time and energy like we are. They've lost people about the time and energy what they're investing. So yeah, we've got to be respectful at the end of the day. It's not. I don't think anyone would be, and if they're not respectful, then they're not going to be coming again. Do you know what I mean? Like we'll just ask them, look, you need to calm yourself down, or you need to go. You can't be doing this. At the end of the day, we don't want to do a disservice to what we're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can I just say, yeah?
Did you hear any of that?
Yeah, our last chat got 820 views. That's buzzing. That I'm buzzing with that, mate.
Oh, well done.
820 views. That obviously we've only just started these hangouts, yeah. So like, if we carry him on, just imagine how many people we can get involved in this. Do you know what I mean? And the more people we get, it's like we want to be getting people off the Facebook, like debating in all these groups and that, and more focus on things like this, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's incredibly encouraging, isn't it, to see that it does resonate with people, and people do want to listen to what people are saying from their own personal points of view, even if we are just in our front rooms and our kitchens and our garages and in our offices and stuff. You know, I think it shows that element of realness. Dare I say it? You know, realness.
Yeah, so I think Tom missed what we were saying before because he was checking chat and stuff like that. So I'll just tell him what we was on about. Basically, because obviously we're going to Speaker's Corner, and we're going to be around people who are taking the time and energy.
Yeah, I heard all that.
Yeah, because they've lost people and stuff like that. Then we've got to anyone, not you personally, but anyone like new people who come along and start. We're going to have to ask them to basically take themselves off if they can't.
Oh yeah, if they can't contain themselves, if they can't have a decent debate without getting hot-headed,
especially in this situation.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because this is about flat Earth, not us, and about our insecurities and our problems. This is about flat Earth and
being respectful
about all the problems. Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be about respectable debates, and the same applies to anyone that's going to be giving us shit. If there's any like toxic behaviour, we won't allow it. We'll just be like, look, mate, we don't want to talk to you if you're going to talk to us like that.
That's a good point. You know what? If anyone is ever rude to you, especially in a situation where we know we've got to try and keep our cool, even more so, like to be respectful to the families around us.
Yeah.
You can just not talk. You know what's the best way to stop an argument is not feed it, isn't it? So
you can always leave it there and encourage. Sorry, Ruben, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'd like to think that people that are coming to the Activism next week, they're subscribed to Harry's channel and they know. Do you know what I mean? They already know how it is. You know. I don't come in and start swearing or be rude because they've seen the level or standard. But yeah, do you know what I mean? They know how to get out there and the public.
I think anyone who make the time and effort to come to one of these in general would have the heart in the right place, the soul right. You know what I mean? They're coming from a good place because they want to wake people up because it's important, because this lie is fucking huge and it encompasses all them poor families who are going to be there. It encompasses all the things what they're going through because it goes through everything, every single atrocity, lie, abuse, everything. this whole system, this whole reality, what we're in, is because they've lied about even our earth, which is our earth, what we live on. So yeah, I can't see anyone, like you said, and they should have at least seen, to know about it. They should be going through of knowing about it through Harry's stuff as well. So good point.
Yeah, that is a good point. That is a good point. And I want to stay as inclusive as possible as well, and let anybody know, like everybody said, you're welcome to come down and have an informed debate. But it has to be, you know,
yeah,
civilized debate.
Definitely.
Sorry, guys, I'm just sending an invitation. Yeah, CC should be due to join in. So he's going to tell us about this digital failure that's gone on. Everything's gone haywire. If you've got no cash on you, you're fucked. You're fucked. So
that's really terrible. I don't know if anyone's like, I know Harry went. I don't know what happened because I didn't speak to him today, but I think there was something what happened with some copyright thing. And I think they seem to be clamping down since this copyright thing is happening. So
Article 13.
Yeah, Article 13. So I don't know if anyone else has been having any issues with posting things. I know that I found when I'm posting something just on Facebook, for instance, it seems to says finishing up and we'll be ready in a minute or whatever. And it never used to do that. And I know they update their apps and stuff, but it seems to be holding the post for a lot longer than it ever used to. So to me, it feels like not only, I think they do that sometimes anyway with certain posts, but with others, it just feels a bit weird that it's like they're looking at it, checking it through, and then letting it go. That's what it feels like to me.
I'm just going to put a link of Article 13 in the chat box.
Yeah.
It's you got to look into it and share it, because it's like, it's really important. It's our freedom of speech they're going to take away from us. They're going to take away we won't be able to post any memes, we won't be able to post any videos, anything that
put my thing on as well. You know, because I explain it as well.
Is it on your YouTube?
It's on my channel, yeah.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
Go on. Sorry, I'm just sending an invitation again. For some reason, it didn't go through. Sorry, guys.
Oh right. Does anyone know how to change the thumbnail picture when you only got an Android phone? Because every single one of my thumbnails of all my videos, I look like I'm taking a shit basically, or doing something fucking ridiculous.
I only know how to do it on a laptop. Ruben, do you know? I only know how to do it on a laptop.
Hold on.
I'm pulling the most hideous faces, so I don't know. It gets it every time.
That'll be it on this. Honestly, now you've done it. That'll be. In fact, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Everyone's going to be taking screenshots. That's going to be a thumbnail trend now.
Anyone in chat now will be looking now through my thumbnails, and you'll know I've been honest to God. He picked the worst one and he used it as his screensaver whenever I rang him. So I got this face like,
Every time she rang me, look, that face would pop up, and it was funny as fuck.
Oh, like and I'm like, oh my God, get rid of that fucking picture.
I'm not sure on an Android because I've got Apple devices, but on the laptop, I remember you get like 2 or 3 different thumbnails, which it picks itself, or you can upload your own picture, or I think that's how it goes.
Android, well, mine's Samsung S8, and it just all my videos I've done, and it just seems to randomly pick the worst moments ever every single time. Look there. I actually think, oh, hello. Hello, long time no see.
It's only been a few hours. How are you? This is just so amazing, though. I mean, sorry to interrupt. I don't want to cut into
This is Ruben, the guy I met up with in London at Covent Garden with his brother to do the activism in London, holding up the banners. So Ruben, CC, Ruben.
Nice to meet you.
Ruben. My brother, excellent. That is absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to see the video tomorrow. Just be careful.
We will. What's been going on with you, Cece? You're telling us about this digital.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Okay, so what happened was I finished. I made dinner. We had chicken frappes. My family loved it, of course. And my car was on empty, and I figured I'd fill it up because we have to go to work tomorrow morning. So I see the lights, the street lights blinking on and off, and then I see Con Edison is our electrical power company here in New York, and I see these trucks flying up and down. So the power actually went out. You cannot pay with a credit card. If you don't have cash, you're out of luck. And I always carry cash with me. So I just found it kind of peculiar that we were just in a conversation in this one little area. If you drive to the next town, you can get gas and pay with your credit card. But it's this one little pocket. Am I getting paranoid? Maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
It's kind of weird.
And do you know how far that extends for?
Let's see, Ardsley, it's probably about 5-mile radius. That's about it.
It's mad though, CC. Me and you was on about it earlier about power cut.
Yeah, I'm talking to Tom about the power, and here it is, like 2 hours afterwards.
You should make it up. You should not make it up.
Like we manifested
I should take video.
So, CC, have you still got them bits and pieces on you that you were showing us earlier? Can you show the camera again what you were handing out to people? Can you give us?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here you go. This is.
You've been out there meeting people in real life. You've been meeting people in real life. I'm meeting Karen from Sun and Moon. Who you? You've met people recently, haven't you?
Yeah, this is by my buddy up in Connecticut up there. Okay, here it is. Hold on.
Lift it up higher. A bit higher.
Yeah, keep talking, CC. Keep talking.
You got it right there,
That's
and podcast is right there.
Bit higher, slightly higher. That's it. That's brilliant. Really.
You got it. So I mean, I've been handing these things out. I handed them out on the beach. I handed them out all over the place, and hopefully it'll wake people up. I'm just hoping it will. And I mean, it's just unbelievable. You're down at the beach. They're sitting there. They're looking at this flat land. I mean, it's absolutely flat. There's no curvature. You can zoom in on the boat. I mean, you heard me. I just spoke about this with you. Sorry to cut in.
Oh no, you're right. I want to give everybody what you're handing out though, because I think it's really conducive to kind of share information and like I said, you've been meeting people in real life, right, CC? You've been making connections in real life. You've been reaching out to people, and haven't you gone to dinner with someone?
Oh yeah. That's actually who gave me the cards. That's Dave up in Connecticut. His
a YouTube channel.
Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel. DIRTRH, I believe, is his Dearth is his channel. Really, I had a chance to meet this guy. This guy's great. I mean, he really was a lot of fun.
Oh, cool. And you guys had dinner, right? You guys had dinner. You spent some time together. You spoke with one another. You met each other in real life. That's what I'm trying to say. You guys.
Yeah, exactly. In real life, we met each other, and that's what's so important. And I've got a few other contacts here in this area that I'm going to be meeting too, which is really important in this area because I never knew anybody. A year and a half it took me to meet all of these people, putting videos out. I mean that's.
I'm just.
You should set up a meeting, CC. You should set up a flat earth meeting nearby then, because if you've got people there, and then literally just like put it on Facebook and YouTube, and for anyone local who can get there, you just pick a date and just pick a time. Like we do one in Manchester. It's Jamie Brown set this one up, and it's at Heaton Park. And he does it once a month, and people just go meet, and they come from all over, but usually local. And we just meet from midday. So he sets it for midday, and it usually lasts till about 5 o'clock. We stay there all afternoon, and then people bugger off. And we do a little bit of activism now. Like we'll stand there and we'll say to anyone who's
on a regular. People come on a regular. Do people like even?
We do like I think it's.
Come on a regular, don't they?
Yeah, it's like the last. I think it's like the last Saturday of every month. I think sometimes I think it might change slightly, But yeah, you just literally just set
something up. Recently, you went to one recently.
Yeah, yeah, went to the latest one, and it's nice to. I've been to I think 3 or 4 now, and it's nice to see.
They had a friendly vibe. It was like a nice casual environment where no one was.
Yeah, it's just everyone just meets up and chats, and because obviously you know each other off YouTube, you know each other off Facebook, so it's not exactly like meeting strangers. Obviously, there's a few people you've not heard of before or you've not come across before, but you've automatically got something massive in common. So it's easy conversations, even with the people you've not met before. And what I've always found, and I think Ruben, you'll know this, you'll all know this probably, when you meet someone for the first time, especially if it's from Facebook or YouTube, not only do you have to say, oh, my name's Victoria, you have to say your full title. Like I have to say I'm Victoria Rose, because otherwise they won't know who you are. So it was like you have to you say I'm Victoria, and like, oh, and someone will say I'm John, and like, oh, hi John, and then they'll go, oh, I'll use John Thor for instance. I'm John Thor. Like first time I met him, and I was like, oh, wow, it's like almost, you know, it's like meeting like mini celebrity type things sometimes, because you've obviously come across these people and the work prior to it, and you're like, wow, I know, I sort of know you from a sort of weirdo way where I'm doing it online. But yeah, it's mad.
So yeah, there's
that's how we all feel.
That's good. Go on, CC, carry on.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, that's how we all feel, you know, when we actually meet our brothers and sisters in person. You know, I believe me, I'll tell you, whenever I get enough money, my next plane ticket's out to the UK.
Love it.
To meet all you guys. I mean, really, this is unbelievable, you know.
Well, you're welcome to stay at my CC, and I'm sure Roxanne will be the same for her as well. So you'll have to do a little UK tour.
The UK, bring the whole family. You got multiple places.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
I've never been out there.
You can literally do a UK tour. You literally only have to get your travel costs to get yourself over here, because we'll all put you up. There'll be enough of us who'll be able to put you up here, there, anywhere. You'll be able to get over the whole UK if you wanted, dot from here to there and see it all. We'll even feed you
from London to Scotland. You know.
What you're doing tomorrow is such an amazing thing, because we don't have that here.
Not tomorrow, next Sunday. Next Sunday.
Oh, next Sunday. Okay, next Sunday? What you're doing is amazing, because we don't have that here in our country. You can pretty much go and do whatever you want at any time. All right, you have an area that everybody I mean, they're coming together in this one area once a week, and that's where you're allowed to say whatever you believe. And wow. And so you got so many other people that are coming here and in the area, which is amazing, because we don't have that here. You can go anywhere. I can right now. I can do whatever I want in the park, you know, and just sit there and talk. But you've got one area that everybody knows about in your country, that if you really feel that you want to go against something, or you have a belief about something else, people will, and you're really passionate about it, people will gather. And all you have to do is just put a thing out there. But in New York, you don't have that. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, you're running around like, well, I mean, you understand what I'm saying. I mean, you're just, we don't really have that out here. We don't have a community.
CC, you've been invited to Scotland.
Scotland, CC. Alba said you can stay with me and my family in Scotland.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So far, you've got CC. So far, you've got London, Liverpool, and Scotland sorted.
You're doing a little tour of England.
That's it.
That is excellent. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
CC's tour of the UK coming up.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I you know, this is just terrific. I'm so glad we could all come together. You know, and I hate bringing this up, but we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the technology we've been granted. You know, I would have never met any of you guys. You would have never met me. We would have never spoken. I would have just been, you know, some guy walking around talking about flat Earth.
Someone else in the chat room as well, Flat Earth dude. Come to the UK. You can definitely stay here as well, man. I've been watching your content for a minute. I don't know if anyone else in the has watched him. Flat Earth dude, massive shouts to you. And if you do come to the UK, you've got the whole UK to play in. There's a lot of people across the UK that know the Earth's flat. And I'm sure they'd all like to meet you after watching some of your content. He plays music as well, guys. And I'll get the link for his channel. He's a mod. So yeah, Flat Earth Dude, put the link to your channel in the chat room. And I would strongly suggest anyone go and, because listen, what I just said about him doesn't even really encompass what that guy is about. And another guy in the chat room as well, he might not be in the chat room just now, but he was earlier on or before, Tommy Rogers as well. But Flat Earth Dude is in the chat room just now. So if you can hear me, pop the description to your channel in there so everyone can check you out, because he's like multiple facets. The guy's, you know, brilliant guy. Connect with him. He's just another like-minded individual. And yeah, go for it. I can feel the love. I feel it. I feel the love. Yeah. I feel it. I'm feeling Absolutely. It. There's so many brilliant individuals. Even you mentioned some, Ruben, you know, allegedly Dave and that. Like these are individuals that have done a lot for the truth, you know, a lot. And Red Flag Media, he's doing some hangouts with allegedly Dave as well, isn't he? Some like recent ones, some like we're saying, up to the minute. Because I know what I feel we're starved of new, fresh information within the flat Earth community. Everything's just getting regurgitated and respouted out and respouted out. Like we were talking about, you know, landmarks in fresh information, and we really have to give credit to Eric Dubé because he's put a lot of work out there. You know, you only have to look at 200 proofs to say, you know, even if humans don't agree with each other down the road, you still have to put 200 proofs there, and it's there whether you like it or not. Can't get away from it. There's no getting away from it. And I wouldn't take anything away from that. I'm just saying, for anyone in the chat room that's going to come up with arguments about how they don't like him or this, that, and the other, it's not about liking or not liking people. It's not about the personalities. It's about
we won't be here. We won't be here.
It's not about the messenger. It's about the message.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we won't be here with this information right now.
I do feel we do need 201. So I did like how Chris said that. And Harry said that, you know, you've had your 200 proofs. Well, here's 201. And I'm waiting for 202, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm waiting for the next 200 proofs. And I feel that Chris UK and a few other people at the moment are doing some bits to try and provide those extra up to the minute things. And I do feel that we've been starved of it for a little minute. We've just been regurgitating, like I said. So all of this new information now, I feel is very conducive to current activism because it's more information you can take to the streets. You can then self-refer people. I now personally will be self-referring people to Chris UK and showing his documentation as self-evidence of, look how easy you can do this in your spin. You can spin in your living room and prove to yourself that you're not moving. It's that is, not you. It's that. In layman terms, because those are the things that are most easiest to use on the street, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Most people don't have the attention span to sit there and listen to 200 proofs. You know, they want a 5-minute video.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, everybody wants all this information locked into like a 2-minute video because their attention span is 0. You know, I mean, because that's what. Yeah, no, I mean that's what these 30-minute shows and all this other crap. They want. Look, you're not going to get that. You've got to sit down. I'm not going to tell you about it. You know, I mean, it's going to take time, and people need to get through that hump. That's why I'm not going to debate anybody. You know, I'm not going to sit there and having a conversation with somebody who's not even on board with a fucking chemtrail up there. I mean, if they can't see that. It's all over the place. I mean, it's everywhere. It's in your country. It's in my country. I mean, we were hit all day today. I made a video yesterday on this. I mean,
Yeah, definitely. For me, obviously, like, debating is not for everybody, but that's why it takes all sorts for all sorts. And that's fine because at the end of the day, you specialize in your stuff and you're putting yourself out there in other ways. So we've all got to do what we feel comfortable with, and that's the whole good thing about it. And the point about it is don't do something you don't feel comfortable with, because there's someone else who will feel comfortable with that thing, and let them do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, absolutely right. And I'm getting suggestions in the chat room. Midnight Gardener and Flat Earth Dude. Flat Earth dude said, send them to death, the 5 Minute Man, and then Midnight Gardener has put a link to his channel. So assuming he's got some bits and pieces that are quite small. And as I was saying with Ruben and you guys, there's other people out there that are doing more current content, like allegedly Dave and Red Flag Media. They're doing. I haven't watched enough of the content to be able to spout off specifics, but do you know anything more specific about that, Ruben?
They've just been having general chats, really, just about all sorts of topics. But it's just good to see that they're coming together and doing the hangouts and saying the same thing, that activism is a key part at this stage, and that they think that that's the way forward. So they've got more hangouts coming out, I believe, but I think they've only done 2. There's 2 that I've heard of. But
cool.
It's got mixed subjects, really, that they speak of.
Like I said, it's all really encouraging. It's really encouraging that people are putting out that new information.
Yeah.
Anyone have anything they want to add to that?
Tom? Do you want to add to that?
I'm falling asleep here. I'm not sure.
There's so much more. It can go on for so. But you guys, you're. I mean, I'm sorry. You're working on like almost 1 o'clock in the morning right now.
Yeah, it's nearly 12:30 midnight now. But me and Tom have had an early day today. But it's just one of them. Well, yeah, he looks like he's falling asleep. Do you want to do 5? Do you want to do 5?
No, you're all right. You can carry on.
But like you're snoring.
I'll just fall asleep in the background. I'm all right.
I don't blame you. I mean, Roxanne and I have been dealing with this for the last month and a half now. I mean, this 5-hour time zone just sucks. But,
I don't give a fuck, really.
I was going to say I could turn the screen so you can't see him snoring, but or his little head at the background.
Yeah, personally, I'm good to go on for a good while longer. I'm not in a rush, but I know that
I'm all right for about another half an hour, me, I think. So I've not fell asleep yet, so I'm okay. I just dropped me. Well, it's like what is it called? Narcolepsy, something like that. I'm like, I just carry on and carry on and carry on. And then I just drop.
Are you doing all right? You still awake and up for chatting? Yeah.
Is that me?
Yeah, darling. Are you still awake? You're still up for chatting? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I paid for it. I paid for it in the morning, but yeah, no, I'm here.
Awesome.
All right. I have to say good night to my daughter. I just want to put her to sleep in like about an hour. I just want to say good night to her. She was really nice. She loved my dinner that I made today. Victoria, I made and Roxanne, chicken fried chicken came out great, terrific. Everybody loved it.
Oh, you'll have to do it for us when you come over.
I will be the only cook over there. Okay, you're not allowed to go out. Let me put it to you that way. All right, I am the only person that's going to cook in that place when I come over there because I can make dishes.
No, I'll have to. Sorry, I'm going to have to feed you. I'm a feeder. I'll have to at least feed you one meal.
Oh, absolutely. I make a clams casino that would die for. I mean, unbelievable. Wow. I mean, it's a simple dish. It's all simple. It's all stuff that we should all know. You know, I mean, that's really important. You know, seafood is such an easy dish to cook, but that's me rambling on. Sorry.
You were out on the beach with the camera today, weren't you? Showing your family bits and pieces through the camera, weren't you?
Yeah, I was, and she's almost there. My wife is almost there. When you zoom in on a barge that's 40 miles away on the shoreline, you know, and you can just zoom in on it. Not seeing, you know, the front captain's quarters. I'm talking about the whole freaking boat. You can zoom in directly onto it, you know, I mean, because that's going to deceive your eyes. It's your perspective of your eyes that people are confused with, you know, here. Everyone's confused with it. You know, they think they're looking at a horizon, but they're not. Because they're looking at a kind of mirage, you know, with the humidity and the heat coming off of the sea salt and also on the sky too. They don't actually, I mean, you can't see it with it. If you get a good telescope, just go out to the beach and you'll see it. You'll see just this boat come in.
Even 007 today, he said he could see Gran Canaria from his island of Tenerife.
Yeah,
over 40.
That's incredible. With his own eyes, he can see it. That's 40 miles away.
That should be under a few hundred feet of curvature, and you can see it clearly.
Easy. I think you said it was
about.
about.
I've got a curvature chart here somewhere. Hold on.
Yeah, I have it in my place. Where is it? Get that curvature. I mean, yeah, you got to get that. There it is, right there. Perfect.
I've got one in front of me.
41 miles.
Oh, you've got one.
Can you read it, Victoria? Is it in?
Yeah.
Is it in? Can you see it?
40 miles away is 1,066 feet.
Wow, 1,000! I didn't even think it was that much. 1,000 freaking feet. I mean, that's like, all right. Look, when the Twin Towers were up there, the Freedom Tower here in New York, all right, it would be completely gone. You could not see that at all.
Wow. Wow. And that's just 40 miles away. And like you said, on a clear day, you can see 40 miles out. Even 30 miles out is like 600 foot of curvature. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
there's so many things you can still see. When you think like a building, a tall building, like a very tall building is not much more than 70 foot in England. Do you know what I mean? And then like I had these lads at the Activism go, I was trying to explain to them what you can see with your eyes, and I was using like even the 30 foot. What? All right, and I was using like a 30 foot of 30 miles away, and trying to explain 600 feet, and I was pointing at this town hall what we stood by, and I said that's about 70 foot maximum there, high. It might not even been that. So I was saying you're looking at that like over 6-7 times that building, you know, what it should be beyond when you're when you're visualizing something with your eyes. That's 30 miles away. Do you know what I mean? On a clear day.
Wow. And the number, see, when you're giving it like that, you know, what argument can someone give to that? There is no argument.
I know.
There's no getting away.
You've got to visualize it in your head, because if you can't obviously you can go to places like, well, we went to Morecambe Bay the next day and did some more activism, and I was able to use, there was like a landmass out at sea. You could see, you had the sea in between, and then there was like this land far in the distance, and I asked to get a local guy, how far is that? And obviously the horizon was completely level as it is, and he said that's about 20, possibly 30 miles away, and I'm like, wow. And we could see it from top to bottom. That was with our eyes. So, and then I was showing him what it should have been beyond, and he was so shocked. Do you know what I mean? He was like quite astonished.
See?
Yeah.
Self-evident.
I mean, there it is. I mean, how are you going to argue that? You know, but then they'll come back and say, hey, look, I don't, you know, how do you even know that's the real diagram of the Earth? How do you know that the, diameter of Earth is 28,000 miles, and with the Creator? I mean, with the equator. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me how nobody can see this, and they can just go right down to the beach and prove to themselves that there is absolutely no curve at all.
Yeah, they give us absolute bullshit mathematics to prove this ball, and then the trouble is no one went out there prior to it and tried to prove that wrong, or maybe they didn't have the technology to do that. And now we've got the technology to do that. You've even got your eyes. Once you've worked out what curvature it should be beyond, your eyes can prove some things. You know what I mean? Like I said, the 30 miles out thing, or even 40 if you're lucky on a clear day. You should not be seeing that building, that landmass or whatever in front of you, and it's still visible. So, and then you take a zoom lens, or you take a telescope or binoculars or whatever, or a camera, and you can see, sometimes it depends on your visuals and that, you can see up to 100 miles away, and the 100 miles is the 6666 or whatever foot of curvature. Do you know, it's 6,000 and odd foot, and that's 100 miles out. And then you've got the land records, the land photography record, which is 273 miles away or something like that, and the Alps and that should be beyond miles of curvature. I think it's 2 or 3 miles of curvature, and they're still visible.
About 5 miles of curvature.
Yeah, I think with the elevation and things like that, I think it works out. Well, I think it works out at 3 with the elevation of where the guy was when he took the picture, but it's still 3 miles of curvature. I'm not sure. Hang on, I've got it here. Got it here. Got it.
But they make us think that we're these little ants. Okay.
Yeah, 3 miles. Sorry, 3 miles. It says for the Alps and that from where his elevation should be. I don't know these numbers, but
so up on the camera as you're talking.
I don't know if you can see.
Keep talking as you're explaining it.
Yeah. I don't know the complete elevation if this is completely right, but I'm assuming it is, because we try not to put anything out there than what we've, you know, what is correct as far as we know. Do you know what I mean?
Miles, yeah.
But this is yeah, it says that one, the Alp one. That.
Can you read the one for Lake Michigan for Cece as he's over in the States?
Oh, yeah. Chicago skyline, Lake Michigan, 53 miles. Should be beyond the Chicago skyline should be beyond 1,667 foot of curvature. Okay. Should be hidden. So I think I had a guy. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying. I mean that right there tells you, you know. And when you speak to somebody out here and you show them this, or her or whomever it is, I mean they just still don't get it, you know. I mean, all right, okay, I'm rambling on. Sorry.
No, you're not. You're cool.
It's frustrating, isn't it? It's infuriating. Because it's sometimes like you're banging your head against a brick wall, isn't it? And these people are just, like I said, it's like they're almost like these robots who have been programmed not to see something in front of the face, like the nose. It's like you've got a nose on your face, you know, like I've got no nose. And like you've got a nose, they touch it, like I can touch it, but
that's what the problem. I've not got a nose. Right? That's what the problem is. That's what the problem is every time.
We were all there. You know, what brought us up together, you know, where we have this to deal with. You know, I mean, all I can do now is put my hand on my forehead and just walk away and hand a card out at this point, because I can't discuss it with anybody anymore. I'm tired of it. I just don't even want to bother. I'm not gonna debate shit with people who are just off in this cartoon world. And that's where they are.
Sometimes it's nice to speak to people who are open to stuff as well, like even if they don't know, but they're asking like inquisitive questions, not just being knobheads basically. It like it sort of drains you sometimes, and I actually find I don't mind debating personally, but I actually find sometimes, you know, when you've got like a bit of tension, like sort of take it out online. Doing a bit of debating, like, and have a little bit of a to and fro with somebody, but it's not, like I said, it's not for everybody.
It's difficult. It really is a difficult subject to deal with, and I want to get out to people, but if you're just going to attack me, you know, and come at me and start to question stuff, and start to give me geometry problems, and tell me you met somebody who's from freaking NASA and all this other bullshit, and that's that's fine. Look, the only thing I can do for somebody like that is I'm just gonna, and then they have all these PhDs and they brag about that bullshit. You know, that makes a fucking difference. That's great. You've been even more indoctrinated than me or anybody else. Congratulations. You know, now you're gonna have a little more work to get through, and when you finally figure out the Earth is flat, you're probably gonna have 4 months or 6 months of this sickness that you're going to go through of getting out of the indoctrination. And I don't know.
It's a shame because they don't get the beautiful experience that I feel we got when we discovered the flat Earth. You know, I remember for me it was just such a beautiful thing, and looking at the world with new eyes, looking at the sky and just appreciating it on a next level. But for these people, when they do come to the realization, it will be the hardest pill to swallow, and like a bitter experience in a way, because their pride and ego was in the way, and it's tragic. Really, it shouldn't be that experience, you know. But it is what it is.
No, you're right, and it is what it is. You're absolutely right. I mean, that's what they're going to have to go through. I mean, it's we all did it. We all went through it, and we're here. We're here talking to each other, and that's fantastic. This is beautiful. I would have never met any of you because of this. And, you know, it's great. It really is.
Yeah, it's awesome. It is awesome. And all the people, well, I've got my best friends now, and they're like family to me. And the who I've chose myself, like, you know, I can class, like, you know, everybody who I'm seem to be meeting seems to be like I'm having these amazing connections with. Obviously, there's the odd person who has not been what they seemed, or, you know, things have gone a bit different than what I thought they would have done. But in general, it's like almost 9 out of 10 people I'm meeting are awesome people. Do you know what I mean? It's probably even more than that. The odds are probably even more than that. It's just a beauty, like you said, it's a beautiful thing, and this knowledge is a beautiful thing as well, because I like the fact that we hadn't learned everything, that there was all this stuff to know, and it just become like everything was open for debate, everything was new, starting from scratch basically.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're reprogramming your brain, you know, and you have no teachers to do this. All right, other than people that you're looking up on YouTube and whatever, but you literally have to reprogram your brain from the start. You know, from the beginning, from when you were taught, when that little planet was sitting there in front of your desk when you were, you know, 2 years old, or I mean, I'm sorry, not 2 years old, but, you know, your first grade teacher told you that the Earth was flat. You've got to, from that point, you've got to reprogram your brain. And the older you are, the more difficult it is for them to get through this. You know, they're going to need, and the therapy that they're going to need is to talk to us.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they're going to, this is therapy right now. We are going through, there are no psychiatrists, there's no psychologist that's going to get you through this. You need to talk to like-minded people. That is going to be your job. I mean, once a week. That's going to be, you know, 1, 2 hours, talk to somebody who's in, you know, that are like-minded people, and it's going to make you feel so much better. Everybody here, I mean, really, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
In a society gone mad. That's what it is for me.
Yeah. Yeah, these psychopaths who have put us on this spinning ball earth with this lie, basically created this false reality, what we live in, have created this system what is absolutely give us traumatic experiences, majority of us, not everybody, but majority of us. And we, like you said, we need therapy from it, and the therapy isn't some indoctrinated person sitting there telling us what's what. It's literally talking to each other and starting from scratch. And that's how we bond as well, and we're learning from each other, and we're finding people going through similar situations, and we're just basically finding our way again, and we're doing it by helping each other, which is an awesome thing. It shouldn't be, I don't know, it's just bloody, it's changed my whole reality, and it's changed my life basically.
For the better, would you say?
Oh, good God, yeah. My life's like, oh, I've got a life now. I feel like I've got a life. My life prior, don't get me wrong, I had my kids and everything, but that's all I had. It was just, I was just mum. I wasn't Victoria. I wasn't a woman. I wasn't a person with a passion, or well, apart from cooking, that was it. And I didn't feel like I had a purpose, and I don't know. I just felt like I was existing. I didn't really buy things because I never had any money. But yeah, my life has just gone from having hardly anyone in my life to having all these new people who have become, I feel like I've known everybody who I've got close to so quickly as well. I've known them all my life. It's not like I've only just met some and then others I've known a few years. It's that instantaneous connection that it's like you've been here before with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would you agree, guys? Would you agree? Would you agree that your life's better for knowing the truth about
Definitely.
Where you're not?
That's how.
Knowing the truth about what you're not on anymore. Maybe we don't attain what we're on, but
I agree.
Your lives are better as a result of knowing that you're not on a ball anymore.
Most definitely. I think we all know that this society is like fear-based. Like you'd always see stuff in the papers and news like
the North Pole and the South Pole are going to switch polarities, and gravity is going to do this, and electronics won't work, and just all sorts of mad stuff. You always live in fear, or a comet's going to hit the Earth, but now none of that stuff's happening. It's out the window. It's just a joke now. Like, it's literally just sci-fi. And yeah, the way it's changed me, like, I've basically, since discovering Flat Earth, used my artistic talents to make something of myself, where before I wouldn't have. And I guess just discovering that, and discovering that this place was intelligently designed, it just inspired me to intelligently design something. And so now I use my hands to create stuff, you know. And that's how I know that there is a creator of some sort, you know. None of my work creates itself, you know. So yeah, Flat Earth definitely has helped positively for me.
Hey, that's exactly how I feel too. I now know there's a creator. He created, or she, whatever. You know, I don't want to. But I mean, it was created for us. This whole area was created for us to, you know, all of us were created to, you know, live in harmony, and they created a disaster for us. You know, and we don't know where to go. We don't know what to do. I mean, because there's an entrance that we can get to, I think. I'm not sure what's beyond the entrance, but I mean, that's where we should be going down to. Or do we just live here? Or are we in hell? I don't know. I really don't. I mean, are we, you know, part of I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, but all I know is that getting into this and meeting everybody, and we all understand what's going on, is an amazing thing. And
yeah, totally agree with you there. When you was on about we was created and this was created for us, that resonates with me from the studies what I've done with ancient cosmology and all the other stuff. When I've looked into religion and everything, we obviously we was designed for a purpose, and I truly believe we was designed to originally to experience everything what human life had to offer, and as much of it as possible. And I don't mean just the physical things. I mean the spiritual side and things like that. And I think we are spiritual beings. But what you touched upon then, CC, was that it was like a group of people a long time ago tasted the pleasures in human life and realized that they could manipulate humans to become their slaves, and they could live off the backs of us, and they've done that ever since. And that's what this setup has been about. It's been about, and it's about greed and power and control. Greed and power and control, and making sure that they don't ever have to do anything, and we do everything for them. So
that's what they created here. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying, they're feeding off our energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean, look.
That's our most prized possession. Sorry, our greatest commodity is our energy. That's why we should be doing our passion and talents and skill, which is what Ruben touched on. He said he's been able to get back to doing his passion. Now, I've not found my particular passion talent as such, but I think like I do like non-profit events organizing, so I'm going to try and look into making that profitable. I'm not talking about the non-profit stuff that I do, which is the camps and stuff. I'm keeping that non-profit because I think that anybody should be going to that, but I'm looking into like organising festival stuff, and I'm not just on about for flat earthers. I'm on about for anybody, like mainstream anything. But it's not going to be mainstream. It's going to be conscious artists and things like that on. And then you've got other things that you can involve in that, because I need to find something that in this system we need to make money, and I need to find something what I can do.
And you see, you have to. You know, I used to work for a corporation, you know, which I just could not stand, even before Flat Earth. You know, before I became a Flat Earther, I just couldn't stand. It was nauseating working for a company like that. You know, with the same old nonsense that you walked in, good morning, good afternoon. Yeah, I mean, it was so annoying. you know, walking into these places they were just puppets walking around, you know, I mean, just doing nothing but just satisfying their boss. I couldn't deal with that anymore. You know, I did that for 10 years. It was a very big company that I worked for, and I just, you know, I couldn't have anything to do with it. Now, you know, we are all going to figure out, as a flat earther, what to do. It's coming soon. I guarantee you it's coming soon. We're going to figure out what to do. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I've already got a plan. I've got a little plan.
Yeah. I have a little plan myself. I know Roxanne has. My other friend over here, I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Tommy's asleep now.
Oh, Ruben. I'm sorry, Ruben.
And Ruben, sorry, yeah. Yeah, no, my plan is, I think that however possible, we try and buy land, right? I don't know about in the United States, but in the UK, we try and buy land and then we set up our own living solutions like eco-village style. And with that land, you can set up festivals to get cash injections in there. And then with that money, you buy more land and then set up another community of people. And we basically opt out of this system. So we make ourselves self-sufficient. We find a better way. And we just keep doing this until there's enough, because I think not that you become a leader, you lead by example, because if people see that there's a better way of doing things, then they're more likely, because it's already set up, to go, actually, all I have to do is move over. And at the end of the day, you can either sit back for someone to do it for you, or you can get off your ass and do it yourself, which is what I intend to do no matter what at some point. I don't know, I can't put a time scale on it because we've all got issues in our real bloody bollocks bubble life what we live, which doesn't make it absolute immediate that we can do these things, but that is definitely what I want to aim for, which is because I've been visiting, I got the idea I went visiting an eco village about 10 maybe 12 years ago now, and it was self-sufficient, and this was nothing to do with flat earth, but it had like a cafe, and what it did is they got money from like the general public coming doing some tours. So you could imagine if you had like a bit of land, you could have a campsite where people could come and stay. Like I said, you could have festivals, you could have farmers markets, and you can have like people working on, you could have you could have your truth talks of a daytime, you could have entertainment and things like that on, you know, where you've got conscious lyricists and things like that coming. So this is how you can become like a little ecosystem yourself, where you're not relying solely on the system to get by, and then you do it for someone else and you set them up. And it's not about the money, it's just about getting the land off the buggers, and then we can start trading with each other. We don't need money. I think money in this system's evil. It could be used as a tool, but it isn't. It's used in greed and corruption, and how to belittle someone and say it's a status symbol. I'm better than you because I've got more money, which is nonsense. So yeah, that's what I think anyway.
I love it. It seems like everyone has a vision for a brighter future, one way or the other.
Yeah, in general, my main aim is that instead of like, obviously it'd be great if everyone was awake and my next door neighbour was awake and stuff, and or awakening or whatever you want to call it. But that's not the reality. And I would just like to have where my neighbours around me are like-minded. That's all. I'm not saying I want to live in one big house all together. I think we all could deserve our own space and our own land if we can, and our own homes. But it'd be nice to live like down the road from somewhere where you can walk to them, and not have to travel like hundreds of miles across the country to try and meet up with somebody you feel like-minded with. And then you could have community things where you get together regular, or you can pop into each other's houses for meals and stuff. Do you know what? It just makes sense to me, because that's how communities used to be in the past, where you pop into your neighbour's house for a cup of tea, or, you know, a meal, or you'd stand on the street chatting. And we don't get that anymore in a lot of places. Very lucky if you do. So I think it's bringing back the community to the community.
And you know what? She's absolutely right. Victoria's absolutely right. You know, because remember, from the beginning of our civilization, where it ever actually began, we have no idea. I'm thinking probably a couple hundred years ago. Other than that, there were little pockets of people, and it expanded out. You know, it got larger and larger and larger. You know, you're out in the UK, okay? I'm out here in the US. You know, I've got 10 people here around that I've been speaking to on a regular basis, you know, and those pockets are getting larger. And it's eventually going to cover the entire country. You know, it's a shame we don't have a bridge that goes over across the pond, but eventually there will be. You know, I mean, that's how it is. It's not going to stop. It's going to continue, and it's going to get to a point where we're almost at the tipping point right now. I think right now. I mean, how many people? I mean, we got so many people all over the place, all over every country. You know, I mean, whether they're telling the truth or not, I don't know. I mean, they leave comments on mine. They leave comments on yours, I'm sure. I'm from, you know, here. I'm from all over the place. It's coming together. It's now at a point right now where, I don't know, I'm getting a little afraid only because of these towers they're putting up over here. Because I know they're not for cell phones. There's something else that's going on up there. You know, I mean, I don't know what they're doing with those things. I really don't. And I didn't want to bring it up, but they are all over the place. They're evidence. They're in your country. They're in my country. And they're huge. A cell phone tower used to be just a big 50-foot tower with a couple of wires hanging out of it. That's all it is. You know, now there's these little satellite things on there. There's shit from Star Trek. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on. I really don't.
They went up without any notice. They just shot up left, right, and centre where I live.
I have a hideous feeling inside, and I hope I'm wrong. But I've felt this for a long while, and I don't know if this is the conspirator in myself or just a bit of paranoia. I don't know, or the reset thing. What we keep saying about it feels like that these elites in charge to keep themselves in power. When obviously everything organically, we start getting knowledge, and then it feels like what they do is when we get enough knowledge, when we get too near the truth, or too many of us start to make a change, that they want to keep their system in play, that they do a reset because they've got money and they've got power behind it. So I have a feeling that even if they don't manage it, they're not going to manage it this time. They're not going to manage it. I have a feeling that these towers could be something to do with. Have you heard of the EMPs? I forgot what it's called. It's I have a feeling that they're going to wipe the electricity of some form, because they think everything's electrical. And if they stopped all electrical powers, that would mean we have no connection, no communication, no knowledge, no way of knowing what's happening down the street, let alone what's happening in another country or another town or whatever. And like everyone's, we're stuck on everything being power-based, and we don't know how to survive in general. Some of us do. I've personally got some survival training, but not many people do. Not a lot of people don't even know how to cook, like you said before, CC. So if they wiped all this, people would die. Do you know what I mean? It's all it takes is, and they could basically say, oh, there's been a massive power out or whatever, and then put some martial law up or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I just hear. I mean, within a 5 mile.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, a 5 mile radius. I got every cop in the county right now, closing off streets. You can't get onto the Summer River Parkway. You can't get on the Springbrook Parkway. The lights are shut down because there are lights on that highway itself. I mean, they've almost declared martial law here within a 4 months. Now, could you imagine? We've had storms here, hurricanes, and all that stuff that has pulled out power and the entire East Coast, which was mayhem because you couldn't even get gas at that point. And we are so unprepared. We've become so indoctrinated. They've made a civilization right now that is so dependent on everything that if anything should happen on a small scale like this, they don't know where to go. I mean, they're running around like madmen. I mean, everybody like here, of course, knows, okay, look, drive to the next town. The A&P is open, or the supermarket is open. That's what we call it here, A&P or whatever, Acme or whatever. I mean, your local store is open, get food. Don't panic. It's all right. It's fine. All right. Yeah, but I mean, everybody is just so programmed around here, just like in your country too. I'm sure if the power goes out, what do? You know, do you have any backup? Nobody
exactly.
has
it's not like they have to actually wipe people out, like physically wipe people out. That would physically wipe people out without having to wipe people out. Do you know what I mean? And all I think with the reset type thing, they'd only have to keep it off for like a decade even. Do you know what I mean? 10 years. Could you imagine having no power for 10 years? And then you've got people would die off. And then you've got all communications, or even longer, because I think they're able to keep their knowledge and them. However we reincarnate or whatever, then they're able to carry on their bloodlines and stuff like that. So they're set. Do you know what I mean? They're set for it to, this power out or whatever, to last for even up to 50 years, and then we're screwed. Do you know what I mean? Unless we get a better way. This is why I think we need to get self-sufficient and have a way out that we're not connected to the national grid. We're not reliant on the system and the money and the you know, the bloody computer says no if you've got no money in the bank. Do you know what I mean? Not even if you have, they've just said, oh, there's nothing there. We need to have a way that we've already set up. So we need to be able to trade, and we need to be able to grow our own veg, in fact, and have an ecosystem set up away from the system. Because if it does go Peter, I want to live like that anyway. Do you know what I mean? Even if everything stays the same and nothing changes, I want to live like in an ecosystem where I am living in harmony with the land and my fellow humans. I don't want to live in a battery farm where I'm a slave, basically slaving for the man or whatever the bloody saying is. So it's a nice way to live anyway. The thought of it is anyway. So, but if it did go Pete Tong and you are living away from the system, you've got a chance.
Yeah, the cities will get it worse the first. So yeah, you want somewhere away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they come round us up and stuff like that. I'm not saying that, but I don't know if it goes to things like that. All I know is that they've got the power to be able to do these things to us. Obviously, they've got the power to do even worse things to us. But I don't know. I think they need to keep some slaves, because otherwise that's the whole point. So they're not going to wipe us all out.
I would agree. Look, they're not putting these up for our enjoyment. You know, they're not. Yeah. There are no satellites up there. We know there's no fucking satellites up there at all. They don't exist. Okay, there's nothing flying around up there making our telephone service. And if there was, I could take a satellite phone right now and call you from anywhere. And those satellite phones do not work in certain areas either. So we know that these things are up there to either, one, harm us, do damage to us. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're all over the place, up and down every highway, up and down in all your major cities, and they're not there to help you. You know, I mean, they're up to something. You know, an electromagnetic pulse will put us back to the 1800s. We will have no power. Your only source of heat is going to be fire. You know, how many of us have a chimney in our house? You know,
exactly. We've all knocked them out and things like that. Most houses, most new builds never even get built with chimneys in. So you've only got your old houses, and then even they've been taken out, or you've got some fancy ass electric thing in its place. Do you know what I mean? It's like we are not set up to be self-sufficient in any way unless you've done something off-griddy, which is not the majority of people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and these towers, what you're going on about, it makes sense to me that they could be some transmitter or something what could send out electrical impulses. They're setting them up in all, you know, sporadic places that are nearby everybody. It's like, oh yeah, well, let's set the signal off now.
Yeah.
I can't believe they were building a house down the street. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I really quickly, this house is going for $1 million down the street from my co-op. Was being built without a freaking chimney. I mean, to spend $1 million, not even about the money, but I mean, even to move into a house without a chimney in it, period, as far as I'm concerned, is like a no-no. You know, I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. How could you not live in a house without a freaking chimney? I mean, your own source of heat, at least. And it doesn't even really heat the house anyway to begin with. 90% of it, unless you have a wood-burning stove, is not going to heat the house. But at least you have that one little savior. So they are building shit right now that is just, they don't want you to become self-sufficient. You know?
Yeah.
They don't. They want you completely reliant on the infrastructured system we live in.
Exactly, Roxanne. I mean, exactly.
We're reliant on the monetary system. We're reliant on the travel system. Just those two things alone, if they collapse without our power collapsing.
The medical system, the food system, the pharmaceutical industry, the education, every single industry known to man is run by these absolute psychopaths, and we're reliant on it. And it fills every single part of our lives. Even like you said, with the building, you know, they build houses now without any form of like the chimneys, just something simple as putting a bloody chimney in so you could, you know, put a fire in your house if anything, you know, if your electricity goes or your gas or whatever your power source is. You've got another way of fueling your house, but no, we don't even have them. So it's quite scary, really, when you think of it like that. I don't know if any of you did this, but you know, when you come across all the, you know, the apocalypse type things when you're doing your in your, you know, your research, probably prior to Flat Earth, I started stockpiling like dry goods and water and stuff like that. But you know what? It's not a bad thing to do, even if you don't necessarily have to do loads, but it's handy to have a bit extra in. Do you know what I mean?
Doomsday preppers.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's a massive thing.
Did anyone else do that? Or just me?
No, I do too. I don't know about anybody. I've got dried goods in my house. Oats.
Yeah,
oats.
Sorry.
A lot of organic oats.
Yeah.
I mean, I went out and bought some dry food. It's in the back of my car, actually. And I just threw it in the back, you know, just in case. I don't know. I'm sure it's really, really horrible tasting. But, I mean, it's something. You know, if you're starving and there's nothing open, there's no power. No power means no restaurants, okay? There's nothing open, okay? People don't understand that. You know, when the power goes out, all these restaurants around us are shut down. You know, they can't cook, and they're not going to cook. It's done. You know, you're fending for yourself. These supermarkets around me have enough food to feed the area for about 4 days, 3 days max. You know, that's it. Once they go out, you're on your own. You know, you're going to eat leaves off of a tree if you're not prepared.
Wow.
You know, so people need to be prepared, and that's why the bigger channels, you know, as much as I say, you know, whatever, but I mean, at least they're laying down, you know, a platform and saying, hey, look, you know, at least set yourself up, do something, buy whatever you need to get, you know, wherever you need to go, and just prepare for something. And I've said it before too. I don't know what to prepare for. I really don't. I wish I did, but I
think the cities as well. I think we're a bit screwed in the cities because I'm in a city. I'm in Liverpool, and I know that Roxanne and Ruben are in London. And I feel like we're literally like battery chickens in the cages because there's a lot of people all pent up, and like you just said yourself there, Cece, you know, the local shop is probably only got enough food to provide the local area with say up to 4 days worth of food. And you know what I mean? It's like, and there's a hell of a lot of people because they've basically like pushed us all together from the 30s when we had the depression in the 30s. They've got the people out the farm and out the rural areas, and they got them to come to the cities because they were starving as well. Do you know what I mean? It was because no one was self-sufficient. Even, you know, the only people who are self-sufficient are people who be able to grow their own and live off their own land and have keep animals and stuff like that and be able to be the self-sufficient thing, what we should have been originally, living in like a symbiotic relationship with everything. But we've had that taken away. Like you going back to like say your tribal type situations where everything was symbiotic. So they wouldn't, you know, any tribe out there with, say, a tribe in the Amazon, for instance, or whatever, that's living off the land and they're looking after each other and they're in a community, if it all goes Pete Tong for all of Earth, and we all get cut off, they're still carrying on. They're not gonna be affected one bit. Do you know what I mean? It's us that are going to be affected because we know what to do.
No, I mean, anybody have anything to say? And I agree with that 100% because, like in Africa, they're self-sufficient out there. All right. I mean, they have villages over there. They don't even know what the hell's going on here. You know, they could care less as far as they're concerned. There is no internet. There's nothing there. There's nothing at all that's going to affect them. They are a self-sufficient town. And we have come into an area in all of our towns, all of our cities across the world that are, you know, third world, second, whatever it being. We don't know how to do any of that. We've lost that. And that's the way they set it up.
Yeah. They've hid our knowledge of how to carry on. They've hid it. And even like recent stuff, like even things down to, you know, in schools, they've stopped teaching like grow your own and cook your own. And even like things like they used to when I was at school, they used to teach, you know, things like sewing and stuff like that. They don't do that anymore. You know, home economics. So even some basics like that, they're gone.
Life skills that are needed.
Yeah. And all our old skills. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, there's no need for it. You know, everything has been done. I mean, you go to Amazon. Amazon has everything for you. Go out and buy it. But what's going to happen when the internet goes down? You know, what's going to happen when your power goes down? Can't buy shit from them. I got people having groceries being delivered to their freaking house, for Christ's sake. They're so lazy they can't get off their, pardon my French, fat ass and walked out of the supermarket now. They have a truck that pulls up and delivers all of their food. And they could care less. I mean, we are just setting ourselves up for a disaster. And that's what they want. That's what, you know, that's what the powers to be want. You know, and it's perfect. It's a perfect system now.
Of course it is, but for them, they've basically got us into where we have to rely on them to survive, and we have to work to be able to survive. So the only thing that the people are doing is slaving away in a slave system. But then we're slaving away in slave system for slave tokens, which is money, and then they're teaching us to just consume because your life's not worth anything anyway. You're only here once. You're on a spinning bloody ball from a monkey. You mean nothing. So you might as well enjoy your slave token and buy the latest this and the latest that, and then as soon as 6 months it's obsolete, you need to buy the next one. Do you know what I mean? And this is the way that consumerism is now. It's not about you actually buy something what would make your life easier in general. Well, we do buy things for ease as well, but it's all about, you know, it's status symbols, and your last Android or whatever phone, iPhone, was still perfectly capable of doing all this stuff, but yet they'll bring the new one out and we want the next one. Do you know what I mean? And that one, what we'd saved up for or whatever, was really happy with, becomes like, I'm not as happy now because they brought the latest one out and I actually wish I had that one now. You're not happy with the things that are still working and still doable and still usable.
Yeah.
Well said, my darling. Well said. Well said.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%.
What about public speaking, Victoria?
I'm getting a megaphone. I'm going to be saying all this on a megaphone soon. Coming to a town near you, blasting your ears on.
I saw you out on Sunday. I got one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Could you?
What was that, Rubes?
Could you talk a little bit about Sheffield? Could you talk a little bit about the people you came across in Sheffield?
It was a complete mixed bag. Normally, in general. Oh, have you got one? Oh, wow. Nice.
Oh, game changer. Research, flat earth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, let me check this out. Hold on.
What...
Oh, nice. Excellent. There you go. Megaphone. Dead bang, front bay window. Beautiful.
What's that?
Are we going to use it next week?
Yeah.
Bring it. I definitely want to get on a megaphone. I know my voice is quite loud anyway, and I do speak a lot, but I'm thinking of doing it, just going out into wherever I can get to locally, not on my own, but going with either Tom or whoever can be with me, and just standing and just be able to just speak. Like I can have a banner near me, have a banner and have some leaflets as well, just to and say, look, I can even have like a little bit of something wrote. And just say, because I think not only are we should be telling people about the lie, because obviously that's the biggest lie, but we should also be telling them about the liars who have told us this lie. And most people can get on board with the liars as well. So, you know, once you tell them about where their information is coming from, like, you know, all these people like Copernicus and that, down to Darwin and that, once you research them, you find out they was in the Masonic elite, you know, in the secret society high up as well. And you're like, hang on, they're in the Wink Wink Nudge Club. You know, there's something dodgy. These are dodgy sources of where we're getting our information from. And I found that shocking when I found out where they were from. And I thought, wow, I'll tell people that, and everyone will wake up instantly. And they haven't, but some have.
You guys are gonna have so much fun next weekend. I really wish I was there. You know, at least try to play a video or something. Pick a good video of me screaming and yelling or something.
Obviously, John Smith Globefly is going to be filming it, but I'm going to try and get as much of us activists to live stream it, even if we're live streaming from our phones. It's not about doing out; it's about getting the information out to the streets to let people know what's happening right there, right then, right now. No matter where they are on all across the international flat plane of existence, they're going to be able to tune in to see what's going on right now on the streets.
Beautiful.
And I feel as many
what we have to do here.
Have fully charged phones. If we can have mobile chargers with us that day, I've got about 3 or 4 mobile chargers. I'm going to have charged all the way up. Yeah, I'm going to try and stream as much as possible. I don't think it's about, you know, normally I would try and do it after, because I don't really want to cause no heat where I am, but we're at Speaker's Corner, so there's no hiding where we are. You know, I don't think there's any danger in doing a live stream where we are when we're there right in that moment.
Yeah. Definitely.
Flood the feeds with it. Hopefully we can just start flooding the feeds with it.
Definitely.
Well, maybe everyone could come up with a hashtag for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish there was a way that we could like do, like, you know, in Star Trek where you did the beam me up Scotty thing, CC, and we could do that and just zap you here on next weekend.
The surprise is, guys, CC's coming over on a flight to Hyde Park next week. That would be great.
If I somehow or another in the next couple of days come up with about $3,000, I will be there. Believe me.
Do you know what though? What we'll do is when you are able to get over here, CC, we'll set up something. Do you know what I mean? So you'll be able to come out to do some activism with us. You obviously don't have to get involved if you don't want to, but we'll do some stuff, or even come to a camp or whatever. And you know, we do a bit of activism at the camp as well. They're usually quite relaxed as well. It's not everybody comes; it's just whoever wants to join in. So. And some people, like I said, they join in and they just stand back and just take it all in. Do you know what I mean? It's just an experience as well for some people.
No, exactly.
So,
exactly. I'm just so happy, you know, because I've spoken, you know, Roxanne's the first person that I've spoken to one-on-one, you know, in the Flat Earth, in a video talk. Other than that, it's been a lot of people from the UK. It's just been comments on my videos and stuff like that, and, you know, saying cheers and whatever. But I'm getting a lot of feedback, you know, from that area and also from Australia, which I don't think actually exists, does it? Can we confirm that Australia exists? Oh, yeah, no, it does. Okay. But, yeah, but, I mean, I'm getting Australia, where you guys are, absolutely, which I find amazing. And also in Thailand, I've got 5 or 6 people out there that are regular commenters that claim they're from Thailand. I can't, you know, confirm this at all. Yeah, but I mean, exactly. But, you know, they claim they're from Thailand. But I mean, that's 5 people. At least maybe one of them is truly from that country. So I mean, it's amazing. We're all over the place, and
yeah, I can't believe it, because at the end of the day, there's people waking up, whatever you want to call it, all over. It's not just set to America and the UK. It's all over. Do you know what I mean? It's international, whatever you want to call it. So this is a massive, massive awakening, and it's not just encompassing flat Earth. Like I said, it's encompassing the whole shebang, but flat Earth encompasses the whole shebang. So that's why I think it is the biggest one of all. But yeah, I am going to have to say goodnight to you all. I don't want to go, but I am going to have to, because I've got school run and everything in the morning, and I don't want to say goodbye, but I'm going to have to.
No, but thank you,
Victoria. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you. Lovely meeting you, Cece, and lovely to speak to you again so soon as well. I'm glad that you've got power on, because and I'll be in touch. I'm going to subscribe to your channel and everything like that, and all the rest of it, and we'll be in touch and things like that now. There's no way around it. You're stuck with me.
Yeah, I already subbed to yours. You're on there, so.
Great stuff. And Ruben. What? Sorry.
Making real life connections here on the Hangout. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you to Roxanne.
Without a doubt. It's awesome. It's been awesome. What an amazing afternoon. I know we've spent a hell of a lot of time talking. We'll probably all lose our voices tomorrow. But yeah, it's been awesome and lovely to see you again, Ruben. And I'll see you next week, and I'll probably speak to you in the week as well. And Roxanne, thank you so much for inviting me on to the last, because it was like a last minute thing, which was amazing. And it's just been an awesome afternoon and evening. And thank you for everyone who's commented and watched as well. Like, so yeah, I'm gonna bugger off.
Room, darling, you've been getting loads of love in the chat room. Everyone in the chat room more or less has been resonating with everything you've been saying. They absolutely love
big
you.
love, everyone. Big love, and everyone have a good sleep, and I wish everyone a lovely evening, or wherever you are, or day, wherever you are. And I'll probably be online. Well, I will be online tomorrow. So yeah, good night. I'm gonna bow out.
Oh, big kisses, sweetheart.
Bye bye. Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Aww. Absolutely love Victoria. I've only just been speaking to her for a couple of days, and she's got such a positive energy about her and such a humiliative way of communicating. It's gorgeous.
Terrific.
Gorgeous.
I want to know more about Ruben. I'm sorry we didn't really get to talk.
Yeah, please go ahead, Ruben. Go ahead. Ruben's been in the Flat Earth bit for a minute, haven't you, darling? Go ahead.
Yeah, I found out in 2015.
Same year. Same year. The same year. Everybody's 2015. I don't know what that date is all about.
Yeah. And luckily I met a bunch of flat earthers the following year. In 2016, we recreated the Bedford level experiment. So met a few people there. I remember John Thor as well. That was the first time I'd met a fellow flat earther who I met online, who I was already friends with online. So as Victoria said earlier, when I met him, it was like I nearly pulled his arm out of his socket, because I was so excited to meet him.
There you go.
And it was just really exciting, a really special time. Dave Murphy, my head nearly exploded when I saw him, and I wanted to go say hi. I was like, oh my God, it's Dave, it's Dave. And just speaking to him, he's so down to earth. And I was like, this is stupid, but I'm acting so silly. It's just a normal person. But it was because you appreciate the work they've done and the journey that they have helped you with, and now to finally meet them, and it's like, you know what, I really appreciate everything that you've done, even though you don't realize it. You have helped me, and thank you. You're a real person, you know. So yeah, that was a great experience, and we've done quite a bit since then. What other experiments did we do? We done.
What's your channel, by the way? I don't know your channel.
It's called Everybody Equals Mind Controlled Squared. So
it's in the description. It's in the description of the channel.
It's right there. All right, I'll log right now.
It's in the description box of the content. Go ahead, Ruben.
Yeah, I wanted to think of something clever for the title of the channel. So E equals MC squared. I took
perfect.
It. Yeah. So what
another
else?
puppet.
Wow.
No, I'm just saying another puppet with Albert Einstein. Just this, we don't even know what the hell he really did. Nothing as far as I'm concerned. None of these scientists did shit. They've just been all elected, and names and numbers and all the shit that you see when you're a kid, you believe. Why wouldn't we? I mean, it's there. Why wouldn't we believe it? I mean, why wouldn't anybody believe it? It sucks. It really sucks.
My mind cast back the other day to an old Microsoft Office, and you'd get the little helper, you get a little paper clip and that. And there was at one time, there was a little Albert Einstein. And I thought of that. And
I remember that.
Those little, you didn't think about it at the time, but now that you look back on it, you're like, they got me like that as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see all this shit that we saw 10, 15 years ago, when the internet was just evolving, with, remember Ask Jeeves? Remember Ask Jeeves? Ask Jeeves was a big internet site here in the U.S., and it was this guy in like a top hat, and you ask Jeeves, and he'll tell you everything you need to know. Just like Google. Google, of course, suppressed it, squashed that entire internet site. So how many internet sites are there now? I mean, that are very, very popular. Google. I mean, you got Firefox. Maybe you have two other ones, and that's it. I mean, Google is the king, and they always will be. Our government did not want monopolies. And now we have them all over the place.
Yeah. It's crazy how things have changed.
No.
And you went to the Flat Earth Convention, didn't you, over here?
Yeah, that was amazing. That was really, really... My girlfriend keeps saying it took it up a level. Like, we all know it's flat, but this just makes it more official, There's flyers, there's people coming into the hotel and going, oh, what's going on here? Oh, and I in Realm Media are doing a live broadcast, and so, oh, the Earth is flat, didn't you know? And it was just so much more official, and I think it was good publicity, because straight away we had Gary, John, Darren Nesbitt, and Martin Kenny on the ITV, on This Morning. And that was, I think, thanks to the convention and the fact that there's so much, we're making so much noise. You can't ignore Flat Earth. It is everywhere, and I think we're attacking from every angle, and that's just what's doing the damage. We're making ourselves heard, and those that are open-minded enough to listen will see that we have got a point. It's not as easy as they thought.
No, you're
whether
right.
they're open-minded, I mean, I'm just saying, whether they're open-minded or not, they're going to see it, and that's the whole point, because these people that are just zombies running around, they are going to see the truth. When all they got to do is just walk into one of these conventions. I mean, you're going to see a lot of people there that are talking the truth, and they're going to listen. Just go on to YouTube, listen to us, listen to anybody. I mean, they'll see it. They'll have to. The one guy that came up to me and bitched at me is the guy that I want woken up. That is one guy. I should have taken his name and number. I gave him a card, but it's not my website, so I don't know, where it's going to go from there. He knows me, obviously, but but still, I mean, they're going to wake up. I'm not.
I got a good technique that I tried last year when my girlfriend's uncle came from Spain. I made up this a sign that had the YouTube logo on it, and it said YouTube 200 proofs Earth's not a spinning ball. So when people come out of the airport and they've got the signboard for someone's name, like they're looking for someone, I just had this YouTube signpost saying YouTube 200 proofs Earth's not a spinning ball. And my daughter was filming at the time, and there was no problems. No one had any issue, and there was two armed guards had seen it, and they just carried on. But the moment they saw that I was filming, they came over and said, "You can't film." So I had to put it away. But it was up for about 2 weeks. And when I walked off to WH Smith, which is like a news agent's say, and basically the police were looking around for me, apparently. So when I came back to the spot where I was, they pulled me over and said, "Why did you do that?" And it was like, well, because no one else is doing it, and I think it's very important. And why did you stop me? Like, what's the issue? And they're like, we're told to look out for anything suspicious and out of character. And obviously, we've been doing this for like a year and a half, and we've never seen anyone do what you're doing. So why are you doing it? And I was like, I asked them, do you remember what was on the sign? And they said, yes, YouTube 200 proves Earth's not a spinning ball. And I asked them, did you watch it by any chance? And they said, we got to proof 4 and we couldn't handle it. It was just too much. Like, we're on duty. This is too much information. So we're going to watch it later on, and just, they just wanted to know why. And I think this is what we need to do, just attack from different angles, think outside the box, and just push flat Earth out there, you know? Because as you were saying, when people do realize and they do pay attention, they're going to have to look at people that have done the research and know what they're talking about. They'll look to us for answers or where to start their research. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Where's the first?
Absolutely correct.
People?
Sorry, Rexa.
It's all right, guys. Where's both of you? Where's the first place you send people?
Usually 200 proofs, because I think the first 10, I just tell them, try to go for the first 10. Try to prove the first 10 wrong to yourself. And they can't, you know. I love the whole flight path. Sorry, the planes, you know, they fly, once they're at cruising altitude, they fly level for the duration of their flight. So I like to start on that. Or ODD's 21 questions is usually a good one, because that's the main questions they ask, isn't it? Where's the edge and all the rest of it. So yeah, I'd say 200 proofs and ODD's 21 questions.
Yeah. And what about you?
No, I'm sorry. I mean, this is all information that people need to see. You know, I mean, these are big channels, you know, and whether or not, I don't care what they are, you know, but they're giving information out. Yeah. You know, whether they think there's a firmament or whatever the hell it is, at least get people to look at these just basic 101 facts about the fucking flat Earth. You know, that obviously, look, you just look at it. You know, I mean, they have a much better way of explaining it than I do. You know, that's why when you come on my channel, you got to be at least into flat Earth at one point, else you're going to just listen to me rambling on about nonsense that you're not going to agree with. You know, that's probably why I have so many trolls, you know, but I mean, still, that's how it is. You know, I mean, you go to these channels, check them out, sit down, think with your head is what I tell people when I hand out cards and shit like that. And just look around, you know, that's great. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Great place to start.
Oh, that's really cool. Really encouraging to hear. Even the chat room saying bits and pieces that are resonating with what you guys are saying as well. And I think putting this kind of information out in the public domain like this and keeping it relevant and up to date. And when, you know, another channel called Scrawny2Brawny. Yeah. I don't know if anyone's subscribed to that channel.
Yeah.
Just recently uploaded something that I thought was a really good visual representation to show people that you're trying to wake up as well. Up to date. Yeah. Kind of still regurgitated information, but given in a way that's kind of easy to use. It's not too long. The content itself's not too long. It's a manageable amount of time, because I think that's the one thing that I find difficult with my nearest and dearest and people I know. It's not actually what I'm saying. It's actually just getting them to slow down for long enough to actually hear me.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Yeah, I mean, to actually find the time to do it, but we all did it. We managed to find the time to do it. I don't know how, and I you know, it's only been like, you know, 3 years almost, and I don't know where I found the time to do it, but I did. You know, they will find the time to do it, and they'll slip it in at work, at lunch hours. Just exactly what we used to do. You know, I mean, and then finally freaking wake up and spend endless nights thinking about it, and feeling this. I felt a nauseating feeling in my stomach for almost 2 weeks. You know, it was just, it's hard to explain. It was almost like I don't know. It was almost like a guilty feeling, or I don't know, like a hunger feeling and a guilty feeling at the same time, or it didn't. I don't know.
Like a yearning, for truth. I think it comes down to the individual, that each person has to have that desire to find out for themselves, you know, like
Sure.
Some people will wing it and whatever as long as they want, but if they truly, and I think that's why we're all here, we all had the desire to find out the truth about where we live, done the research needed to come to the conclusion, and now we're all here, like, realizing it. So it's just like trying to find an easy way for other people to find the truth. You know, with my sister, it just took one meme. I was posting about a year and a half into it. She clicked and she was like, "Oh my God, that makes so much sense." What does? Just a single meme, just done it for her.
Wow,
you know,
that's quick.
If submarines push against water to propel forward, and planes push against the air to propel forward, what does a spaceship in space propel against to push itself?
Nothing.
And the moment she saw that meme, she was just like, everything clicked, and it was like, well, if that done it for you.
That's a great point. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Take notes right now. Everybody who's listening in the chat, write this shit down, because that's another thing that's gonna bring somebody over the edge. You know, to wake them up between water, air, and space. You know, totally different things. You know, very good, very nice.
Don't you find that really useful? Just exchanging, you know, journeys like this. I find it so helpful, because, you know, just things like that can kind of inspire someone else to say, okay, well, you know, I'm not going to give up with that then, because like didn't you say 18 months in?
Yeah.
18 months.
And
You couldn't make that up.
I was posting a lot. Like in my early days, I was making memes left, right, and center. Sharing a lot of content. Looking back at my stuff now, I was addicted to it. I was posting like 20 things a day minimum, and a lot. And compared to now, like obviously I've doing what I do, making my models, and that takes up my time. So I just listen to hangouts or podcasts and stuff while I work away. So I'm not that much on Facebook as I was before, but yeah, a year and a half into posting stuff, that one meme just made a click, and she's on board now. But obviously not the way we are, but she's just happy to know that it's flat, and yeah.
Sorry, my dog in the background. If anyone can hear my dog, he's dreaming just now. He's barking away in his dreams. So if anyone can hear him in the background, he's out for the count.
That's fine.
So that just got me a minute. I was like, what's that? So, like you were saying, like she's awake, but not to maybe the capacity of being so involved as you are.
Yeah, no, she's just, okay with the knowledge that it is, and she's on her own path. She's again, like my mom, she's religious and that, and so she does whatever her faith requires her to, or agrees with, or whatever, you know. So yeah, she's excellent. She wouldn't fight for flat earth. She'll fight for a religion, but not something like flat earth.
Even you, Cece, you spoke to your parents about it, didn't you?
Yeah, and it actually went very well, surprisingly enough. You know, I just kind of...
They're quite religious?
No, not at all. It just kind of, I just sat my dad down and I told him about what I know. And it actually went much better than I thought it would, you know, maybe because I was so emotional about it. And how could you not be, you know, telling a loved one that you've known all of your life, especially your parents, you know. I mean, he thought there was something really, when I first brought it up with him, you know, a matter with me, but not in the terms of not the subject, but I mean, you know, I was pleading with him, you know, just sit down, talk to me. I have to tell you about something, you know. So it was like from there, you don't know where the platform's going to lead to. You know, is he going to say, you know, that I want to get a divorce? I like, you know, I'm gay or something like that. That's not bad, or you know, I'm just saying he didn't know where it was going. And then when I brought up flat Earth with him, he kind of just said it was like no big deal, you know. I mean, that's fine. I told him about why I came to this, you know, subject and how I came to the subject, and he just understood everything. My mother was even the same way. It was kind of scary. It's almost like they knew, in a way. So I can't explain that at all. And I have no idea. They're not. So, but it went very well, actually. You know, and don't be afraid. For everybody out there, don't be afraid. Bring it up with your family member. Bring it up with somebody, especially the closest people in your life. You have to bring this up to people, you know, and they have to know. They might think you're crazy originally, but they're gonna understand when you tell them the truth and all the knowledge that you've, you know, gotten from the last however long you've been into flat Earth, and it's multiple. I mean, you know everything now. We now know everything. I could tell you everything you need to know about the sun, the moon, the Earth, the diagram, everything that's set up. We know more information than anybody else knows that went to school and has actually got a PhD in it. That's how much information we're loaded with. So you just got to keep that information on hand when somebody asks you. And don't be frightened to tell somebody about what you know, what you believe. So that's all I really have to say.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think if we can't bring this conversation onto the table with our families, then I'm not sure, you know, moving forward, what kind of social progression we're looking to make with this subject. If we're going to treat it like a dirty subject and keep it underneath the table with our families, and even at a slow rate, we're not going to move forward with telling our families, then I'm not sure what kind of sway we're going to have. Because if you look at us, we're in our hundreds. And I always, you know, feel that there is going to be the degrees of severity as far as involvement in aiding and abetting it on the roads. But I truly believe that everyone should feel more comfortable, you know, at discussing flat Earth at the dinner table. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, what do you feel? I mean, you know, don't bring it up on Thanksgiving. Okay. Don't bring it up on the holidays. Just kind of, you know, shut your mouth. The best way to tell you. But, you know, any other day, you know, maybe even Father's Day, bring it up on Father's Day. I don't know. Whatever, you know how to play it, you know, and people will know how to adjust to this. Yeah. We all have.
And to all those that can't, for whatever reason, do that, for whatever reason, if they can't do that, at least there's places like this where they can come and talk amongst like-minded people, and that be their open dialogue, so to speak. Because there may be some people that aren't confident to go to the streets. There may be some people that aren't confident enough to speak to their work colleagues, their associates, their friends of friends, mums at the school, you know, women at the Walmart or Sainsbury's. But at least there'll always be platforms like this that are out there, and the more the better, because I think it will give people the confidence to come out of the closet, as so to speak. I'm even speaking to some people that haven't come out publicly and spoken about it, but things like this are giving them the confidence. So I feel that things like this are going to make a difference for, you know, as far as social progression is concerned, and it being accepted to talk about in society.
You're there? Yeah. No.
Yeah, go for it. I'm here.
Oh, no. I just wanted to make sure. I just have a call coming in. You want to? I'm just going to tap. Are you going to go, or you want to stay?
I'm going to be here for a bit longer, darling.
Okay. All right. Let me just take this phone call. I'll be back in a minute.
Cool. Yeah, so Ruben, as I was saying, I feel that, you know, if we can't do that, then I'm not sure how far we're going to get with talking about these things in public and it being socially accepted.
Yeah.
There's even parents that like haven't felt it's okay to talk to their kids about it. And for as many parents as there is, and there's another guy that lives locally called John Jones. I think you might have met him at the convention. Yeah. He's even doing some bits and pieces with his son. He did a brilliant hangout doing some experiments, and he's kind of, you know, him and his son are out there in public talking about flat Earth. His son's awake. I had the pleasure of meeting his son in Kingston when I was doing some filming with John Smith Global. But I think even parents looking at that will say, no, this is okay to talk to my child about. You know, have to keep
we spoke about that with Robbie Davidson from Celebrate Truth. Mentioned that he wanted to start doing videos of his son, and I think it's a great idea, because we had to wait until this age, you know, whatever age we are all at now, to discover flat Earth. And the children of the future, they shouldn't have to wait a lifetime of indoctrination, of brainwashing from every angle until they find this out. You know, the moment I found out and I got it, and I found other people that were on it as well, and I just looked at my daughter and I was like, you're getting taught right now, Star. I'm telling you right now, they're about to come at you and tell you that the Earth's a spinning ball and this, that, and the other, and it's all bullshit. This is how it is. And in a way, it is kind of harder for her, because she's expressed how when they are teaching her the ball Earth and space and everything, how in her head she's like, yeah, Daddy, I'm like, this is all lies. This is all lies. So in a way, it has made it kind of difficult for her to know the truth, but have to stay quiet about it and not express how she truly feels about it.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you on that. I mean, just like I was saying about John Jones and his son, it's about as many, you know, one day, I think there's going to be an influx of parents that are openly talking about it with their kids. And it really resonates with me when I see people in the chat room, you know, saying how natural and real that John Jones and his son are, because I feel I've got that same connection with my daughter, and I'm able to openly talk about these things with her and discuss ideas and watch content. And I genuinely do feel like I'm open to just, you know, anything's carte blanche with her. Do you know what I mean? Where she's 15 now, within a year, she's going to be doing her GCSE. So she's like well plugged into the indoctrination system at the moment. And to have her so heavily plugged in, you're able to talk outside of it as well, and then go back in on a Monday and go straight back into it. I'm hoping in some way, with regards to the chat room, I was able to convey that with my daughter and convey that it was a real scenario that's going on with me and my daughter, because it's quite difficult to do that in a short, you know, hangout. And so I'm hoping I'm putting my 2 cents worth in with making content with my youth, and showing other people that it's okay to talk to your children about this. And not only that, it's okay to fully involve them in it, not just talk to them. And I think as they get older, I really, because my son's 10, and he's just a little bit shy of that age range of fully absorbing where we're at with things and catching up to speed.
Yeah, it's simple. The kids need to. Oh, well, I think as a parent, I just think it's very important. You know, a lot of people ask me, why do you think it's so important? Why do you fight so much for this cause? And it's like, until you're a parent, you ain't gonna get it. It doesn't make a difference to me. What it does to your child, man.
Exactly. And I think people, the better, you know, to remind people that it's the next generation that the baton's going to get put to. So far less them getting to our age and waking up. Let's be a generation of parents that wake our children up.
That's it.
Right there in the public domain, in front of everybody, not in private, not behind closed doors where no one can see it and no one knows it. I think the more that we can flood the content on any platform with parents talking to their kids about the truth, I think this can only be a good thing, right?
Definitely. Maybe even do hangouts with like parents and their children. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's what John Jones is doing. That's exactly what John Jones is doing. I've incorporated my daughter and her friends into some of my hangouts. And I think, like I said, the more the merrier. I think the more people that are confident enough to do that with their kids, because I know we're in somewhat of a little bit of a grey area, right? Because, you know, there could be some that can see these things as like child exploitation is as some may see, you know, putting your kid out there into the spotlight and talking about something that's, you know, somewhat controversial as far as social acceptance is concerned. So I do have a little bit of a, you know, conflict of interest. I feel like I'm putting her there on the front line, and then she's going to receive a barrage of abuse from people. And me as a mother, I'm trying to protect her from that at all costs because she's young. But then at the same time, I feel like as human beings, we've got a duty to step forward, and we have a duty to stand up for the truth and to say, you know, we feel we know what it is. So yeah, that's the only line I've kind of, it's like a blurred line, to be honest with you. It's a bit of a grey area for me as to how much I want to involve her in being in the public domain while she's this young. Yeah. But I'm gonna keep incorporating her into my hangout. She's got a lot to say. She's just kind of working on structuring how because I can't manage her. She's not at the age where I can manage what she's doing. She's very much independent. She has her own little babysitting job. She earns quite good money at doing it. So she's learning to be independent very early on. So for me to kind of micromanage her as far as the truth's concerned, she like wants to get me off like mosquito spray, like cramping my style, mum kind of thing. So she is going to be making more of an appearance, but I'm not even sure if she's going to be making that appearance on my channel or her own channel. I think she may have her own channel and her own gig going on in that sense, where I'm probably not cool enough for her like that. So she will come on to my hangouts, but I think she's going to end up having her own kind of content. And she's toying with the idea of coming to Speaker's Corner herself. So we may have a 15-year-old that's doing it at GCSEs that might be up for speaking publicly. And she may be up for getting a couple of her friends involved. So we may have some youth there with us that day.
And hopefully that will inspire others out there to do the same.
Yeah. I think more for it. The more for it, the better. I really want to stay on and wait for Cece. I know he only said he'd be 5 minutes, but I've just clocked it's like nearly 2 o'clock in the morning now. So even though I wasn't in a rush, I think I might need to start bringing the hangout to a little bit of an end. Because I've got a school run in the morning as well. How you doing, Ruben?
Yeah, no, same.
Yeah, you got bubbers in the house as well, like me in it. So and I know Cece has as well. So yeah, maybe I'll bring the hangout to an end. And as I said, I'm going to try and do one kind of mid-evening on Saturday. I don't know how you're fixed after, you know, the end of day on Saturday, but I mean, if you guys are able to come over to my house, I'm hopefully going to stream something live from the house. So hopefully we'll all be able to be here. And, you know, even if you and your partner and whatnot want to cotch over here with us that night, that's all good. So one way or the other, we'll do it. But I'm definitely going to go live before the link up on Sunday. And to everyone in the chat room, we're going to try and do as many live feeds as we can that day. We're going to try and flood the content with it and try and keep you up to date and up to, you know, posted with what's going on the streets that day. And in addition to that, John Smith Globe Eye is going to be filming it. And if anyone wants to have a little prelim of what's to come, there's some content on John Smith Globe Eye. He's uploaded a bit of a kind of prelim for what to expect next Sunday. So you can go and check that out. And there's some more details on there. The more the merrier. If anyone's tuned in and they want to get involved with London, I would strongly advise, you know, making movements and reaching it. I think it's going to be somewhat monumental as far as numbers are concerned. Yeah, if anyone wants to email me with any questions, you're more than welcome to do so. My email address is operationrealness@yahoo.com. There's an Instagram page, official Flat Earth UK, and I'm on Twitter. And yeah, Ruben, what other platforms are you on as well? I mean, I have got Facebook, but I use that more for personal and family, because I've got family all across the international flat plane of existence that only use Facebook. So I'm kind of stuck on there with family. But I know you've got some other bits and pieces. Do you want to let everyone know how to get if they want to get in contact?
Just for me is Facebook. My Instagram is mainly about my art stuff, models that I create and that.
Oh crikey, we didn't even get time to talk about that much. You know, I really wanted to kind of tell everyone about that. You do so. Just if you could give everyone a brief synopsis of what you're talking about with the art. It's amazing what you do. Ruben does some really awesome stuff, guys.
You know what? I'll give you a sneak peek of exclusive.
Lovely.
Dave Marsh has contacted me on us to make him a model of the moon race that he done with Georgie Cannon. Art. So that is basically each piece that's going to be on the actual model.
Oh wow.
So there's more to come. There's like electricity will be coming from Tesla's hand. I've got a real trophy here. I don't know how well you can see that.
Yeah, we can see it great, yeah.
Bottle of water for the sky. And yeah, it's like literally the same thing as the painting. What you see here, the white paper, the white card. I need to get the background printed, but it's literally going to be the same thing as the painting, the drawing, but a 3D model of it. So yeah, like it's quite
awesome.
I love it when I get these flat Earth projects because it's something that I love as well. So it doesn't feel like a job.
Yeah, when you're doing something you love, it doesn't, does it?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. And it's weird when I have to give the pieces to the client. It's just like, oh, I love it. It's so beautiful. But to see their face when they receive it is priceless. So,
yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. And is that on your Facebook as well? Can people check out your bits and pieces on Facebook?
Yeah, I've got a Facebook like page, RDJ Custom Dioramas. That's my Instagram as well.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to pop all the links for that in the description of the video so that when everyone wants to come back, they can go into the description and click all the links for that. So it'll be readily available for everyone watching now and everyone watching on playback.
Thank you.
Yeah, and is there any other platforms? Are you on Twitter and all of that? Are you there?
No Twitter. I did have Pinterest, which I just kind of forgot about. And that's about it.
And yeah, I've already put the link to your YouTube channel in the description box for the video as well. So I've done that, and I've done that with them. I'm going to add CCs into it, but I've done that with everyone that's been involved in this part 2 of this evening's public conversation. And Ruben, I really can't thank you enough for being here, man. It was awesome meeting you the other week, and I'm literally counting down the days to getting to see you again, man. I'm so looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to meeting new people. And like I said, yourself. Is your brother able to come?
I'm not sure. I'm going to see, because he's literally just got a 3rd job. So he's a madman. He's working like a madman. He's only got like 1 day off in between the 3 jobs that he's got.
Wow.
So I don't know what he's trying to do, but
oh wow, he's a trooper.
That's what we can do.
All right, my darling. Well, yeah, we'll be in touch for definite. And thank you, everybody, for everyone in the chat room and to everyone that's been on the hangout tonight for taking the time out to be here. For all of you in the chat room, I really appreciate you listening to what we've got to say. I really hope a lot of what we've said resonated with you and has helped in any way. And yeah, I'll be back before Sunday at some point over the weekend. And if anyone wants to ask me anything, by all means, email it operationrealness@yahoo.com. So yeah, it's much love from me. And I'm assuming much love from you as well, Ruben. And we'll see you all next time, yeah? Take care, everybody.